Yes, yes, yes.
So, warm welcome to all of you for joining us for today's session. I'm sure some of you must have been attending all the sessions regularly year on year, and even this November month quality series. Some of you who are not aware, November month is celebrated as a quality month across the globe. So we normally conduct from our consultants forums regular knowledge dissemination sessions for various sectors. And today's session is actually the sixth session in the series. And this is actually on healthcare quality standards. And it covers the complete healthcare, what do you call it as, ecosystem. It is something to do with services quality, not just healthcare services quality standards, but also the supply chain and value chain of healthcare. So which are actually your pharmaceutical products and medical technologies or medical devices. When we're talking about healthcare quality, we need to address this in totality. So we have session today designed to address the complete healthcare ecosystem quality, including AYUSH, which is also part of the healthcare ecosystem. So we have lined up um, uh, several topics today, and we have also invited speakers who are experts from the respective domain. What's happening generally post-COVID is, especially something that we could pick up in the marketplace conversations is uh, every business, it's not just healthcare sector specific, by and large, this is what we have seen in across the sectors and more so in healthcare also. There is a lot of interest for every business to go global, right? Be it services, like it is called in healthcare services, export of services is called medical tourism or medical value travel in the country. And when it comes to products, of course, pharma, Mr. Basu will, he's an expert from the domain. He will tell you that we are pharma capital of the world. We have been exporting to the global markets for decades. And still the opportunities are increasing because pharma is likely to capture more market space in the global market. So what is happening is there is also a demand from small players, or there is an interest even from the small players in the space to go global. Large enterprises, large businesses have been there and catering to the global markets. Every business, every micro business, small business today is picking up orders either online or offline in multiple ways, because there is a global supply chain shortage or gaps in the system. So there are plenty of opportunities for businesses to go global. Similarly, when it comes to medical devices, is also part of a value chain of the healthcare services. What's happening in medical devices is we did not have full regulations in the country. What we had as regulation was very, very, very minimal. It was just after COVID, the complete regulations for medical devices and medical technology sector is announced in the country. Now, there was a transition period given to the industry to embrace and to adapt and transit to the regulatory requirements. A regulated sector means it's more kind of matured. It brings a lot of business maturity to the industry and to the businesses also. So there are plenty of opportunities, even medical technologies and medical devices companies are clocking. Again, the conversations is we want to go global, like we've got an order from this market, from that market, but how do we enter? How do we go to meet the market norms? What should we meet? What standards? What certifications? These are the regular mails. We are getting mails, we are getting messages, we're getting phone calls asking for all this on a daily basis. And that is the purpose of creating this conversation. Even AYUSH is going global, be it services or be it products. There is an interest for products in the global markets. So today's session is actually designed to address all this, more about business opportunities. Business opportunities means everybody wants to know about market access, go-to-market strategies. So market access norms in global trade are always linked to businesses complying with regulations in a regulated sector, And in non-regulated sectors, there are voluntary standards and certifications which the businesses have to comply with. So the whole objective of this November month quality series is actually sector specific conversations on the technical standards, requirements, and various regulations. These are country specific, regional specific. Importing countries, each country has got their own norms. So, as a country, if we have to really be part of a global marketplace and ecosystem, we need to really focus a lot on educating. And as some of you from healthcare services, the product side, you must be knowing that countries, we are seeing lot QCOs, quality control orders, that are being introduced in the country almost on a daily basis for various sectors, again to raise the bar on quality and various other factors. So today's conversation is actually built around all this, just to educate you all. Some of you may be from services, some of you may be from products, and this knowledge will really help you just to plan your global market entry strategies. So we keep inviting you all for regular sessions. Keep do joining us, and maybe this is the time for unlearning and relearning also for all of us. So thank you once again. Thank you to Dimitrios, who's joining us from Greece, and Mr. Basu from Andhra Pradesh Medtech Zone, and Atulji is from Management System Consultants Consortium, MSCC, and he will also be the co-host for today's session. So thank you so much. Over to you, Atulji.
Thank you. Thank you, Ramanji. We have a lot of eminent speakers with us, and today foremost is Somnath Mr. Basu, and he will be joining us. I think if we have this presentation slide, please.
Aarti, you're sharing?
Yes, ma'am, sharing, please.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
I believe the lag in the net. Thank you, Aarti. I believe that's not the correct one. Thank you, Atul. So we have Mr. Somnath Basu, who is a scientist from EKMS and Regulatory Affairs from Andhra Pradesh Medtech Zone. He has worked in CDL Calcutta as a drug analyst for approximately 7 years. He has joined CRESCO to work as a reviewer for clinical, non-clinical, and CMS data and reports submitted by the companies for new drugs for 10 years. He has similarly worked in vaccine documents for 6 years. And then also he has worked in dossier review for blood products, medical devices, rDNA technology-derived drugs for another 7 years, and now is pursuing in PSUR review since the last 3 years. Mr. Basu has attended international conferences of CDR, CBR, WHO in Geneva for vaccine vigilance, PMDA in Japan for pharmacovigilance, Santiago, Chile in global initiatives of vaccine vigilance. Mr. Basu was attended as a speaker at various commercial seminars and has a chemistry and biochemistry intermediate background. Mr. Basu, thank you for coming and joining with us. I would invite you to come and present your presentation. Thank you.
Presentation as such, I think it was a discussion only.
That's okay.
It is actually it's a conversation also you can do, sir. Impromptu, fine.
Please go ahead.
You want to listen from? I was confused actually. You were talking about the Schedule Y. There was a draft Schedule M.
Yes, Schedule M. Schedule M was the one, but then the recent regulatory announcement is to align this with an international CGMP, WHO GMP quality alignment. That is the recent regulatory focus in the country. So I just want you to discuss about that. Either way, presentation or your oral discussion, anything is fine, sir.
No, Schedule M, as you know, it maybe might have been introduced in the country around 2002, 2003.
Right.
So long back, almost 20 years back, Schedule M. But most of the elements are common, and it is in per se, it is at par with the WHO GMP only. Some of the elements might be changed here, and even that time also we put that every manufacturing company should give a importance in the batch manufacturing record and training of the people, and health and hygiene, keeping health and hygiene of the people in a employees of the company. Those things were already introduced here. So but still, you see the pharma manufacturing companies in our country, there are small scale, mini scale even, and medium scale and large scale manufacturing sectors. So some of the companies, they are exporting, like Aurobindo Pharma and Pfizer Limited in Vizag Parwada area. There is a factory. They are working in three shifts, and their products, all products are going outside only, not in the country. So pharma manufacturing is a segmented sector here. So as you, everybody has a common belief that as if there is no GMP practices here in India. That is not correct, not true actually. Our drug inspectors always visit the with the schedules. They visit the, and currently there is a risk-based manufacturing premises inspections going on at Baddi area and also Roorkee area, many other places, even in Hyderabad also. So, and we have a checklist. Our drug inspectors has a checklist, and they, with that checklist, they go and they look at everything. Not that they will forget anything. This is a kind of ad memoir they keep in hand, and then go. They look at the HVAC system. They look at the water system. What is the, how the raw materials are are kept in the inside the company premises. How the quality control area is managed with its microbiological aspects also, and so all these are in the available in the checklist for the drug inspectors. They go and they report properly. But still, as I told, that there are multi-cap system. One is the small cap, micro cap, and middle size companies. Some of these companies, they started their business, but they could not implement it. Some of the elements in GMP, good manufacturing practices, in their premises. So there are a lot of interest, conflict of interest going on. But so India is growing like that. And in fact, the pharma industry, all of this pharma industry, although it started in 1950s with the Bengal Chemical, and Sun Pharma also started around 70s, and Serum Institute of India vaccine manufacturing, they started around almost 30 and 20 or 50 years back, vaccine company. And then I joined in 95. So during 95 there was a hepatitis B manufacturing facilities in Bharat Biotechs and Santa Biotechs in Hyderabad, that started. So pharma manufacturing units, how much old is it? It may be 50 years on an average, I can say 50 or 55 years. So within that period, we have made a good success. Our Aurobindo Pharma is a good exporter, and also Unichem and Cipla, they are large exporters. Cipla is manufacturing many anti-AIDS drugs, and they're pioneer. And also Hetero Drugs Limited in Hyderabad and Vizag, they are manufacturing that antiretroviral, that is the AIDS drugs, and they are catering to the African countries like Senegal, Uganda, and Kenya, etc. So, what you are saying, that quality aspects, quality, yes, it is not homogenized, not harmonized in all companies, but we are trying. And everywhere, even what I can say, even the judiciary, is it harmonized? So judiciary also not harmonized there sometimes. So, but we are trying. The all institution in the country are actually assets for the Indian democracy, the biggest democracy in the world, and our institutions, they are progressing with the progressive mind. New schedule M, I exactly I have not gone through, because after my superannuation from CDSU, I have joined in the medical device sector. So exactly what elements have been added, that I cannot right now focus. But if you keep my session another day, I can give you. And also I was busy in the clinical engineering conference here, and World Health Technology Conference forums conference here in international, in AMTZ. We had 80 countries representatives here. I think you are aware about that.
Yes, yes, yes.
Was the program going on, so we
Yes,
were all
yes.
busy. So but anyway, I am very much thankful to you that you have contacted me, and you have you welcomed my participation. So I'm really thankful to you in that manner, and you can ask me questions. I can give you the job replies in that manner. I can.
Even schedule M, we request you to elaborate, even the one which is, forget about the new structure which is going to be introduced. The key structure, the schedule M, at least the areas where the industry is stronger. We want you to just little go deeper into it. The areas where the industry is weak. I'm not talking about large enterprises here. Let's leave them aside, sir. Talking focus actually not even on medium and large. It's more about small and micro businesses. As I said, generally, where is that? It is like a SWOT. What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? And the opportunities that they can explore and the threats they may face if they are not going to upgrade themselves. I just want you to focus on those aspects. Thank you.
See, for the small caps manufacturing sector, there is a to maintain a HVAC system or to maintain a clean room system, there are a lot of expenditure that happens. Now, sometimes, and in our institutional procurement area, like railways or referral hospital, RV hospital, or big procurement agencies, they go for the L1. L1 means lowest price in a bid. So I think there is a price gap and how to cater this huge business to the railway or ESI, employee state insurance. So their return, the business return is not that much probably, because the small scale and minimum scale, medium, mini scale sector. So handling the HVAC system and water system, it takes a lot of expenditure in the micro, and also training program. So there is a lacking in the training and then also there is a retrenchment of the people from one sector to the other companies. So if you give training and some days back after, they will go back to go to some other organization. So those things are happening. These are the challenges, and these are also the threats to the pharmaceutical companies. And also we are dependent mostly on the bulk area, bulk API. We are dependent upon China. So there is a changes in the prices, cost prices, import prices. That also causes a lot of challenges in the pharmaceutical sector. Hetero and Series Limited, some companies where the Lee Pharma was there. In my when I joined in 90s, mid 90s in CDSU, I used to look at many applications from the Hetero and Lee Pharma and Series Limited. They used to submit a lot of applications for the antiretroviral drug, then some anti-cancer drugs, bulk drug. I am talking about bulk drug. Bulk drug means API, active pharmaceutical ingredient. So to run a formulation manufacturing unit, first you have to get the raw material. And what is the raw material? The active ingredient is the raw material. Now, after this 30 years gap, we find that China is supplying the lowest price, cheapest price API. So our manufacturing units, and before that there was IDPL. They used to manufacture the tetracycline. This was the Nehru regime. Nehru started this IDPL concept, and Hindustan Antibiotics Limited in Pune, Pimpri. Those all started during Nehru regime. The all strategy and planning were done, and these are huge factories. So we have forgotten the names of IDPL, but IDPL has many branches in Gurgaon, in Hyderabad, in Birbhadra, Rishikesh, and they were
Chennai,
modern.
Chennai, Chennai
Chennai,
also.
Chennai also. So they were not modernized. So we are lacking in the space of the bulk drug or API. Now we are totally dependent upon the Chinese supply. Now China, they are the big business country. So they change the prices, and we also have to. So these are the challenges and threat also. And our Make in India program, under the Make in India program, our honorable chief prime minister has also stated that we should be self reliant, we should be self sufficient in the medical and health technology sector. Now health technology, one of the component, health technology does not mean only medical devices. It also includes blood product, vaccines, and chemical based medicines, and rDNA technology products, and now the advanced technology in stem cell therapy that is coming into, like CAR T cell therapy has been introduced in the Tata Memorial Hospital. But still we are dependent mostly, majorly on the Chinese supply of the bulk drug. And what you are saying, the weakness of the company, now retrenchment is one of the threats. So people always get trained and they go out for the better salary to other companies. And in Baddi area, the infrastructural facility, they have given the excise duty free in the Baddi and Roorkee and Sikkim Gangtok area, but their infrastructural problems are there. In Sikkim, there is a landslide, lot of landslide, supply chain breaks down. Baddi, it is not, but Baddi, the living condition is not good for all employees or their uh, children. So, so those are the things which pharmaceutical industries face. I am talking about not the big companies like Aurobindo Pharma and Vizag.
Absolutely.
Or
Absolutely.
I'm talking about the small and middle scale manufacturing sectors.
Now, the question is, in a regulated market, first, I just would like to have this conversation mode, wanted to trigger some of your thought process, and then later on, we will just leave the floor open for the question and answer session. In a regulated sector, which calls for, certain amount of business maturity, okay, in terms of your business processes, systems, people who are competent to work and operate in that sector, and then the technical infrastructure that you're talking about. When clean rooms is going to be a requirement, okay, now how can we have businesses which are cottage industries, which are small, which are medium, without all this infrastructure? First of all, how can they operate in the market? This is my question. Because regulated sector means it's supposed to have definitely a matured uh, many things that maturity is needed. Forget about, it's not about global market or the domestic market. Uh, from your conversation, I'm picking up, sir, just all the small micro companies, government supplies supplying to the government, whether it's a government being the procurement agency or the private sector. Assurance on quality is a must. There can't be a dilution on that. So how can we have this cottage units, micro businesses, small businesses operating in the country without this infrastructure is my question to you.
Yes, this is a relevant questions. I think you are also at the same time, although there are challenges and threat, you are, I think, empathetic to the small and micro industries because they are also generating a lot of employment in this sector. Otherwise, some people they thought, some school of thoughts is that why in the pharmaceutical industry the small and micro sector should operate. There should be only medium scale and the large scale manufacturing unit should operate because there are a lot of expenditures. It is like airlines is the most regulated sector, aviation, and after that pharmaceutical sector, and amongst the pharmaceutical sector the injectable formulations are stringently regulated. So if you manufacture topical cream, the stringent regulation is not required in the GMP. This is required, I'm not denying the fact, but not exactly what is required in the injectable formulations. Okay, so and small scale manufacturer they also try their business with the taking the purchasing the land area and then erecting the establishment for the topical creams, fungal antifungal cream, etc., and cosmetics area they are working. So you mean to say how to thrive? Then they have to upgrade, and also there is a requirement of hand holding from the regulator side that within the limited potential, limited resources, how can they operate the good practice, GMP, good manufacturing practices. GMP means another thing is that you have to record everything. You have to keep record. You have to make SOPs and how far you are complying with the SOPs. Not only the clean room. Clean room is a requirement for the class A, B, C, D are required in the clean room. That is most stringent in case of the injectable because the injectable formulation is directly hitting the intravenous system of human body. So, but that is not in the medical device, of course. So training is required first thing, and within the limited resource, how to maintain the number of products can be limited, but can be doing good business. If you have a limited potential, then bank loan, the easy availability of the bank loan is important thing, and maybe government may think of subsidized rate of the electricity to the to this such kind of factories so that to sustainable for their sustainable growth and uh, sustenance of the employed persons who are already experienced like that. Some of the measures that government can
But this,
take.
we are talking about entrepreneurship here, sir. These are all the fundamentals of entrepreneurship. Whatever you have been listing. If somebody wants to be in the business of doing business, yes, they need to invest into all this.
Hmm.
Every an entrepreneur should know that operating in a regulated environment calls for a lot of investments,
Hmm.
capex investments, people training, and all that. as the consultants at the marketplace, and of course, we have not seen any of these investments. Forget about pharma. I'm talking about in general about other sectors. People skilling has no appetite. It's gone down very badly in the last 15 years, at least.
Hmm.
Businesses stopped skilling people. That's a different one. And forget about businesses investing into it. Even at a people level, their own appetite to upskill themselves is also not there. That's a different one. See here, the issue here is why should the regulators, I'm just asking the conversation mode, why should the regulator offer the guidance and hand-holding? Regulators are watchdogs.
Hmm.
They are supposed to do audits, inspections, and then tell the industry where they are doing correctly or not doing correctly. That's it. And hand-holding support, all that is not the duty of a
Hand
regulator.
hand
Hand-holding,
holding
supporting.
means, I mean to say, talking about hand holding is that
Mm,
there is a gap, there is a
mm,
communication gap. What
mm.
regulator exactly wants and what the pharmaceutical industry they can implement. So there is a gap. That gap, the
Right.
leveling of that gap is important, and
That
for
is
that
the main
matter,
issue.
there should be a conversation.
That is, I agree. I fully
And I
agree with.
think in that
Sorry.
that that steps only our training division in the CDSU, they have started communicating with the entrepreneurs and pharmaceutical enterprises
Mm.
in various cities. Lastly, some 1 week or 2 week back in Vizag also, they came and they gave sensitization program with the industries here.
I have
So
attended.
that is one step, one kind of step, sort of space, step in the handholding of the
So,
regulator. Regulator means watchdog, that is correct, but regulator is not a police also. This industry is not a policing activity also. And also in the ISO 13485, when the people they go, they are coaching the people that what kind of documents, and there is one wing who are coaching them, the organizations, and the other wing which are going for auditing. So
absolutely.
this also can
No,
happen.
I agree. I fully agree with you. See what happens when something is happening in an ISO 13485, that is from a conformity assessment. Those structures are totally different. So those structures have got many things in place, have defined it. In the regulatory structures, education is also not happening. Generally, that's what we find. So when you really wanted to, all this hand-holding business, the sessions that you're talking about is happening after all the risk-based inspections. Since there are issues, and then we started doing risk-based inspections, because we have seen comparing with the medical devices and pharmaceuticals, both are different.
Hmm.
Medical devices more of an engineering industry, so their focus,
Engineering.
the engineering focus, and I would say that it's much more matured and better in many ways. Many things are in place.
Which one?
Pharmaceutical
Medical
sector,
device?
medical devices sector.
No, no. Pharmaceutical industry is also matured, not that. Only
No,
thing is,
mm, mm,
small and micro scale manufacturer, they are coping up with
always,
various challenges,
yes.
and they are the supplier in the lowest quotation in the government bid.
Mm,
So,
mm.
and they have a bigger support also from
No,
their
no, I
back
agree.
end.
Yeah,
So it is
yeah.
very difficult for a regulator to take them in drawing to the court and then
Micro, small,
giving
even for medical
punishment, punitive action. So
medical devices
medical
also.
device also, if you see the IVD kits, almost 90-95% we are importing from China or the European countries. Medical device also, we are not very much matured in the very
That's
small
right.
catheter you are manufacturing. Intraocular lens you are manufacturing in Gujarat. In Gujarat, Ahmedabad, Changodar, there are a lot of steel industries. They are cutting CNC machines. They are cutting and they are sterilizing, and this is doing it.
For
So
that's
heart valve also, that is being done in the Shahjahan medical technologies in the
yes,
Bhapi and here. So, but still, I think 90% are being imported. The high value
absolutely,
products we are importing from the
absolutely. That's
Abbott
this.
and
This is the difference I just wanted to touch upon. A medical devices industry with even 80% import dependency, still with whatever manufacturing that's happening, there also you find small and mid-sized players. Anywhere micro and small players in the regulated sectors, they have a lot of challenges because it requires a strong technical infrastructure, not just the infrastructure. I have been attending the sessions myself by the CDSCO teams when they are doing industry awareness or after this risk-based inspections. I was just listening. I've attended 2 sessions myself. I could pick up the gaps also. So in the case of pharma, it's a slightly different because you've been exporting for many years. You've been exporting for many years. You're in the global market for many years. So on a comparative note, the maturity levels of any sector that is in the global market is supposed to be much, much, much higher. That is what it is. So there are issues, there are systems, and what we also want to know from you, sir, because you have been in the system for too long. Pharmaceutical sector as such, as a manufacturing industry, I have not seen an appetite from the industry to embrace and adapt any international standards. For example, ISO itself has got a list of, I myself have picked up around 12 to 15 standards, beautiful standards for pharmaceutical sector. But we don't see that appetite from the industry to pick up good international standards and then, start internalizing, implementing. Forget about certifications. I'm not talking about certifications. That appetite is not there. It's just Schedule N, or you go to global regulations. That's it. But a business needs much more. A business maturity comes only when businesses keep looking at implementing standards. Somehow that focus is not there in pharmaceutical sector. We have seen it. I would like to know how the industry is adapting ISO standards. There are many ISO standards, at least 15, 16 standards, for beautiful standards for pharmaceutical sector manufacturers on packaging, on labeling, like this. But anything outside regulatory spec, industry is not, there's no appetite. Why is it so?
Pharmaceutical sector is segmented, as fragmented. I told you, Dr. Reddy's, Cipla, Aurobindo,
Right.
you go, there is a good, and FDA, regular, routinely US FDA visits are also going on there. And they are
Yes,
finding the
but they're-
observations, the issues,
they-
the notifications also. But
but-
other small sectors, because as I told earlier, that they are thriving with the background support of even political activity support are also there. And also the supply chain in the maintenance in the large institutional procurement they are, and also excise duty exemption was given, and therefore flourished many small sectors in the Batti, Roorkee and these areas. And sometimes there are it multifactorial actually. So what I can say out about what you are saying, that there is, your observation is that pharmaceutical sector is not adopting the international
even the
standard.
larger
Pharma-
ones. I'm not talking about here, the small
Larger
and the
one means,
micro. The larger ones means even the large, the big names, anything outside the regulatory mandate. They're not implementing. There's an environmental management systems. There is the cybersecurity, information security, like that. There are many things on social accountability. There are many standards which are
but those are
relevant.
not specific to the pharmaceutical industry.
No, absolutely. But many
Those
other
are
sectors.
environmental management is specific, not specific to the pharmaceutical
No,
industry. That is for
absolutely.
general things.
No, it
So why
is.
the
But
pharmaceutical industry should adopt that standard?
no,
Pharma-
sir, it is. It is because
Pharmaceutical industry, no, for pharmaceutical industry, there are already existing authorities from Government of India, from the US authority, US FDA, and European Medicine Agency. So they are bound to comply with them only from the
no
regulatory. Why they will
regulatory. No,
and
regulatory.
pharmaceutical industry is much regulated. It is the second regulated item after the aviation industry, as I told you. Okay. Pharmaceutical pharmaceutical industries management, they cannot be only ISO 13485. It is the GMP, good manufacturing practice. They have to manage the HVAC system, the air handling system. They have to manage. They have to manage the water system. They have to manage the raw material procurement, every time testing, quarantine of the rejected material, and how they are discarding those materials, and also the good manufacturing practices, clean room, the rat insects whether coming or not. So it is not ISO 13485. It's a beautiful standard for medical devices, but that cannot be adoptable in the pharmaceutical sector.
And
So
then,
we have our separate authority. We have US FDA, we have TGA in Australia, we have European Medicine Agency in Europe,
yes,
and we have our own CDSCO, Government of India's authority. So their regulation is primary to the pharmaceutical industry.
absolutely. Regulatory requirement, what you're talking about is good manufacturing practices. Now, enterprise management systems, organizational management systems are much more than all this. That is what holistically an organization, an institution has to adapt to various other standards, which are basically their own customer requirements and business requirements also.
That
This
is
is
already
happening.
talked in the Schedule M.
Absolutely.
Complaint handling.
Manufacturing, good manufacturing practices are different, sir. Organizational,
One of the
enterprise
elements in the good
management.
manufacturing practices is complaint handling also.
No,
And not
that is
only
fine.
complaint handling, adverse reactions, how they are handling, that is also mentioned in the GMP or Schedule M.
It is actually a little more.
The
That's
schedule
what.
M.
It is there, but across the sectors, there are many other regulated sectors also, but their holistic way of implementing various other businesses requires multiple management systems that focus. Even a simple environmental management system also is applicable because it's manufacturing or production, and then there's a lot of pollution that gets generated from a
In
pharma.
Schedule M,
Mm.
it is written that you have to make provisions so that any rat, insect should not come into the premises, or even pigeons and birds should not enter into the premises. This kind, up to that level, it is written there in Schedule M. So you
Right.
have
That's
to,
part of the,
you
that's part of the clean room.
have
Again.
yeah,
That's part of the clean room technology part, right? But the
clean
other
room.
aspect, yeah,
No, no.
the other aspect is the other aspect that we're talking about is that in case we do have hazards happening in place, how does that get tackled? Now is not in compliance in totality in schedule M. It may not be listed in total. We're just suggesting this.
When we went for the inspection, I myself also went for inspection, risk-based inspection.
Hmm.
We used to count how many rodent catchers are placed in the outside environment. So it is written in the schedule M that you have to adopt the preventive mechanism for any entry of the insects or rodents or even pigeons
Right,
catchers, or and
right,
flies also, and microbial control that is done by the in the clinical trial area. In the quality control area there is a microbiological section, and what they do, they keep the petri dishes with the agar agar medium, and frequently they change it throughout the day, and they trap the how much microorganism is in the air. That is also counted. So much stringent is pharmaceutical that we don't go for the ISO 1348 or that kind of the standards in the medical device. ISO, see, India is a sovereign country. We have adopted our own manufacturing norms, and also most of the elements, majority of the elements are in at par with the US FDA and EMA. Yes, they have advanced now, and they have now computerized system, automated system. We have also adopted many automated and computerized system. SOPs, everything is in place in good manufacturing practices area. Only the problem is the with the large, the small and micro manufacturing units. They cannot provide, their capital is very low, so they always try to, they are hesitant to implement many of the infrastructural facilities in their area. So with
so
the
are we
media,
looking?
our pharmaceutical industry is unique. You name any company, Unichem, Torrent, Cipla, they are very good and famous in world over for supplying many products around the world. Even that is product is going into the Germany or Australia.
So are we looking at certain watered down approach of the GMPs for the small and micro organizations?
No, we cannot put the double standards for micro and low scale capital companies. Okay, that will be, then people will make hue and cry that you are making the double standards for some of the, for the large scale manufacturers, and that is for the poor India and another for the Bharat. That cannot happen. So standard is standard, and that is written in the drug and cosmetic rule as a schedule M. There is a special schedule, schedule M, and within that schedule there are many parts. One for the cream manufacturing sector, ointment manufacturing sector, another for the cough syrup manufacturing, liquid manufacturing sector, another for the injectable section. Sterility section is there in the injectables area. So all these stringent things are already mentioned there. Only thing, the new revised schedule M, which is going to be adopted by Ministry of Health, there are some more elements have been adopted. But as I at the beginning I told you that I have not seen, actually I have did not have much time to compare the gap, what is in schedule M and what is there. But the things are there in the schedule M itself also, the existing schedule M also. Complaint handling, training of the population, health and hygiene, health record maintenance, then the environmental management, all these things are available there. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, 1 second, sir. Just 1 second, please.
Yeah. No problem. I am coming. Yeah? Coming back for.
Apologies. Hello. Basu sir, you're there?
I believe he is.
No, I think he's there.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just taken a short break or something. We just wanted to know if audience have any questions to ask him. Mr. Basu, sir, you're there? There is some technical glitch I was just trying to resolve with the Aarti also parallelly. Any questions from the audience? I request you to just put it in the chat box. Okay, then maybe let us just wait. It's taken a break, I guess. Just move on to the next session. He said he will join at about 4 o'clock. Dr. Juneja has to join.
Ma'am, I have
Yeah,
joined.
you're there. Sorry, sir. Actually, just
I
wanted.
have actually one slide GMP presentation. Let me see if it is available. I can quickly go through that.
Yeah, maybe you can
So
quickly you can share. Please do, sir. That gives
my
some idea. Yeah.
conversation will
That'll be
be.
good.
Yes, sir. Because we have the next session starting in the next 10 minutes. We can share it, sir. No problem. The critical key requirements, if they can understand, nothing like it.
So I have to share the screen. Windows.
Can you? No, you've given a share option. They must have given it to you, sir, once again. And I'll just, no, actually sharing option is provided.
Yeah,
actually, yeah. You're able to share it, sir?
No, actually.
Give me one second. Let me just try. I'm just trying to. Can you see the screen? Can you see the screen?
No, I'm coming.
Yeah, I stop sharing. No, I'm just stopping my screen sharing. 1 second.
Screen sharing. Again, this problem happening. This screen sharing. This is the same program here, BMP. This one.
We have to do this.
I
Okay.
have to stop this.
No, I'm doing it. Okay. Alt,
Yes.
Alt tab. Okay.
Actually, I stopped mine. Yeah. Right. Perfect.
Stop sharing. Share sharing. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Basu, you can see this.
So now you can see it.
Yeah.
Good manufacturing practices. GMP.
Right.
It is a system for
Yes,
process,
yes.
procedures, and documentation, as you know. All, and by implementing this system, you can cut down the losses, waste. These are all general idea, and overall adopting the GMP products. Then to enhance the safety of the medicine, ensure highest quality of the possible, all these are things. Then safety, quality, 10 factors: quality management, sanitation, hygiene, building facilities, equipment, raw materials, and all these points are actually covered in the schedule M: validation and qualification, complaints and documents and
Right.
record, inspection and quality audits. Okay. So European Medicine Agency good manufacturing practices, there is a link. Then it is the minimum standards. These I am just going through because you have shorter time.
Yes.
um,
No, no, it's
no,
okay. It's okay. Please go ahead.
yeah,
Take
yeah.
it a little
So
slowly, sir. Fine. That's fine, sir, because they will understand. Please let us not rush through.
I will not rush. Okay, then
Yeah,
it is
thank
okay.
you.
Mm.
Thank you, sir.
So GMP help to ensure the consistent quality. Consistent quality, mean every batch should give the same quality. Up to that level, GMP is made, and also Schedule M also made in that with that objective only, that every batch should produce the same quality parameters, consistent quality, and safety of the products by focusing attention on the people, premises, processes, products, and procedures. Procedures also are the paperwork. Now, to ensure the consistent product quality for the safe use of the consumers, and GMP guides for following do's and don'ts. 10 principles are there. One is the create and follow the SOP and process. This is already done in the Schedule M. And then create and follow the design specification. That is also taken care. Validation of the procedure, processes validation is required. Documents is there, and automated systems are now in place. Even printed out formats are coming after performing one machinery equipments, running after one machinery or equipment. Monitoring facilities and equipment, and employ competent and qualified personnel. If there is a qualified personnel, B Pharma personnels or a chemistry qualified people are taken care into the as employed in the manufacturing sector. Then protect products and contamination, and control components and process. Everything is taken care there. Even labeling also, labeling, so that mixing is not happen.
Right.
How does US FDA determine if a company is complying with the GMP regulation? So I am going to my regulation, what is in Schedule M, their EMS role, etc. I have given as an introductory message. So this is only why GMP is important. Those things are given here. So GMP all started very long back, 1968. Even it is before the medical device sector. It is 68, 69 WHO draft text quality, and our Schedule M is also prepared with the help of this draft guideline only, WHO guideline only. Now, the questions here is that who regulates GMP in India? The state drug regulators oversee the manufacturing of most drug products, but new drugs, large volume parenterals, vaccines, and critical IVD kits and rDNA derived products. There are many monoclonal antibodies now in the market. So those they require the approval of the DCGI as well as the manufacturer state authority. When the final version of Schedule M was published, it is in 2001, and Schedule M was applicable since January 2004. Now, this is the Drug and Cosmetics Act where Schedule M is there. And in the Schedule M, general requirements, factory building, you see, location and surroundings. I am touching upon the points only, building and premises. You see in the building and premises, what is given: factory building shall be designed, constructed, adapted, and maintained to suit manufacturing operation under hygienic conditions. Now, this is a statement. Now, when drug
Right.
inspector goes, they ask for how you have designed. This design is not good. You are not handling properly. This kind of things are happening. So this is the standard. It should be designed, should be suitable up to your proposed manufacturing. Whether you, if you are manufacturing the topical cream, you cannot use the same building for the injectable things, because injectable there are large equipments will be required. So as a drug inspector, I was never a drug inspector, but I used to visit the inspection site very often. So we used to ask questions of this kind of questions. Now, building premises is taken care. Then avoid contamination and cross contamination by providing suitable mechanism, designed, constructed, maintained to prevent the entry of insect pests. What I was telling you. Now, this statement is there to prevent entry of insects, pests, birds, and vermins and rodents. So when we go for visit, we ask that how many rodents catcher you are placed in your premises? Just show me. And whether these are all numbered or not. And what is their installation IQ, OQ, PQ? Those things we ask. So based on these one sentence, when we go for inspection, we ask for all these things. This is for example, just for example, I am showing you. Now interior surface wall should be smooth, free of cracks and permit easy cleaning. And that is why you will find that epoxide under the floor. Many medical device manufacturing, they do not require, and we do not insist for manufacturing unit of the medical devices to implement this smooth, free and cracks free walls and roof side. But in case of the pharmaceutical unit, we always insist for that. And whenever there is a crack, we get a picture and we put it in the report also. So production and dispensing areas shall be well lighted and effectively ventilated air control facilities provided with proper air handling units wherever applicable to maintain the temperature and humidity. Both has to be controlled. And for that matter, we also ask that where is your instrument to check that temperature is continuously maintained at say for 25 degree, and humidity should be, because many pharmaceutical products API gets easily hydrated. So you have to maintain the humidity of, let's say, 40 to 60 degrees Celsius, 60 percentage RH. So that you have to show evidence based. It is written in a sentence, but when you go for inspection, we ask for the instruments also, where you have placed it, that you are checking humidity for the whole day. Suppose you are manufacturing ranitidine tablets. Ranitidine is very hygroscopic. It retains water very easily. So when there is a ranitidine facility, we will ask definitely that where is your relative humidity checker instruments placed. Then floor wall coving is there. Then contamination control floor solution is available now in pharmaceutical industry. In many pharmaceutical industry, you will find these contamination control floor solutions, and epoxy coating is always there. So this is a misbelief that our manufacturing units, pharmaceutical manufacturing, are not up to the standard. They are of the standard. These areas shall be regularly monitored for compliance with the required specification, provided with the drainage system also, then prevent backflow also. See how much detail it is written, prevent backflow and prevent insects and rodents through the drainage system. That is also written in the system. And these sentences are exactly collected what is written in the Schedule M. I have just shortened the sentences, what is written there, but all these informations are available in the Schedule M. Now, this is the air handling unit we find in many manufacturing units. Now, whether they operate or run, that is because running this air handling unit is a very cost. Um, it's a expenditure intensive, cost intensive. So that is why I am always stressing upon the fact that the low and minimum cap pharmaceutical industry, for them there should be other infrastructural like bank loan, easy bank loan, or electricity subsidized things. Those things can be provided so that these running costs are very high for the air handling unit. They can maintain it. So then water system also, you see how much details we have given, that disposal of the sewage and effluent, solid, liquid and gas from the manufacturing premises shall be conformity with the requirements of the Environment Pollution Control Board, Biomedical Waste Management Act, and also additional precautions shall be taken for the storage and disposal of the rejected drugs. Waste disposal records shall be maintained. So when we go for inspection, we see it, where is your waste disposal records and what is your identification number, how many times you have changed its versions, all these things. So ma'am, are you okay? It is time. Hura.
How many more slides are there? Maybe another 5 minutes. No issues. Another 5 minutes. Later on, we can actually take the question and answers also. So I request you also to stay.
So I am just touch upon the
Yeah.
points. Like 1.4 is the disposal waste.
Oh yes.
Then second is the warehousing area. Second is the warehousing area. Then in the warehousing area, there is a quarantine status, then sampling area of the warehouse, rejected area, recall area, then highly hazardous, poisonous, explosive materials store area, that is also pointed out. 2.7, 2.8 storage of the printed packing material. Then warehousing, sampling and dispensing of the sterile materials. Then coming the no, this is not the production area. production area risk 3.1. So designed to allow the production preferably in the uniflow. Uniflow is always maintained in case of the pharmaceutical logical sequence of the operation, and risk of the cross contamination to avoid is separate dedicated and self-contained facilities are required. Then this is the pharmaceutical area photo, and then working and in process space, pipe work, electrical fittings, ventilation openings, rest and refreshment room, ancillary area. You see how much the schedule aim has been focused, that even ancillary area, rest and refreshment room, where it is to be located, that is also given. And facilities for changing and storing of clothes and washings and toilets, easily accessible, adequate number of users, separate for male, female, shall not be directly connected with the production storage area. All these things are written here. Now, ancillary area, maintenance workshop, engineering workshop, that is also given in the pharmaceutical area, where the maintenance and engineering area should be located. And they will keep their tools, parts, etc. And sterile areas, disinfecting hona chahiye. Then animal house, there is a animal house in the many pharmaceutical companies. So how it will be placed, that is given. Then quality control laboratories, that should be independent from the production areas, separate areas for physico-chemical, biological, microbiological, radioisotopic analysis. Separate instrument room should be there, adequate areas shall be provided. Quality control laboratory is designed appropriately for operations. Then quality control lab, this is one of the sample picture. Then QC lab, quality control laboratory, divided separate sections, chemical, biological, electrical, adequate area, microbiological section, air locks, laminar airflow, personnel supervision. Head of the QC lab should be independent from the manufacturing unit. QA QC personnel suitably qualified, experienced. Then written duties, that is SOP, job duties, job description. Then number of personnel employed shall be adequate karke they have left this sentence, but actually so they have to justify. When we go for inspection, we take the justification that with less number of people, how you are working, they are overburdened, these employees may get fatigued and your production will be hampered. Those kind of questions alter, and discussions happen during conversation with the during inspections. The personnel training is record should be maintained. Then consumers, no, this is not 7. Health and clothing and sanitation of the workers, 7.1. Then training of the personnel on hygiene practice, even hygiene practice training to be given. Not only manufacturing practice, but even hygiene practice training, that is also to be given. Then personnel with open lesions and illness should not enter into the pharmaceutical unit. When they are ill or when they have a lesion, they should not come. Then reporting of the illness or abnormal health to the authority, handling by unprotected hands. And then coming clean body coverings, clean room, there is a coverings and towels, etc. They all things are written in schedule M. Smoking, eating, drinking, chewing food, drinks not permitted in the area, production area. Then manufacturing operations, 8, point number 8. Here, processing of the sensitive drugs, precautions against mix-up and cross-contaminations. Building blocks of the good manufacturing practices should be like this. This is the principle. Then prevention of the mix-ups. Then line clearance before packaging operations, line clearance. Production has happened, then somebody in that production area should give the line clearance so that the packaging operation will start. Then printing details of the printing details rechecking also happens. Then printing and this is printing and overprinting shall be authorized in writing. Manufacturing environment to be maintained at the required levels of the temperature, humidity, cleanliness. Changeover into specific uniforms and recall to rejected material. How to handle the recall and reject material, that is given in 8.2.9. Then 9 is the manufacturing premises clean, maintained, orderly manner. Then routine sanitation program. Then coming sanitation in the manufacturing production areas. Then raw materials inventory, quarantine, first in, first out concept to be implemented, purchase of raw material, valid purchase voucher should be there. Otherwise, inspection will go and they will catch them. Examination of the consignments, then batch sampling, testing, release, labeling of the raw material, 10.6, 10.7, separate space for storage of the raw material, identifiable containers for sampling, raw materials with shelf life to be preserved, then 10.10 placement of the raw material containers, then equipments to shoot operations, then balances and other measuring equipments should be calibrated, checked, and use of non-toxic edible grade lubricant should be given. Even lubricants of the machines, that has to be given edible grade. That up to that level it is written in Schedule M. Then documentation and records, objective of documentation and document keeping, then document status, title, nature and purpose, records keeping, data in electronic system, labels and other printed materials, 13 number point. It is moving still, 13 number point, checking of the levels and testing of the drug samples before packing and labeling. Then comes record keeping, packaging levels and level of the reference standard. Even level of the reference standard also taken care. Reference standard means with which you have to compare your product. That is reference standard, and reference cultures also for microbiology. Then quality assurance system totally given here. Quality assurance system is a long chapter, finished product, etc. Then self-inspection team should be there, constituted. You see, look, that self-inspection team to be constituted. Up to that level it is written. Evaluation of the manufacturer's compliance to GMP. Then shortcomings in the GMP implementation. Program shall be designed to detect shortcomings, necessary corrective action to be taken. Then written instructions for self-inspection, personal facility, maintenance of the building's equipment, starting products. So all these things are written here. See quality control system, continuing 16 number point, 17 number specifications for raw material and finished products. Container closure, bottle cleaning. You see 2 points there, containers closure and bottle cleaning. Is it visible, ma'am?
Yeah, I can see that, sir. I can see that.
अच्छा,
Clear.
bottle cleaning is, you see up to bottle cleaning तक यहाँ पर लिखा it's written there 17.2.2 up to that level. So micro level, if you go in the schedule, you will get everything. Containers closure system they have discussed how it should be. Then specification for bulk, intermediate and in process materials, specifications for finished product. There should be given the code references, formula, pharmacopoeial references to be given, direction, sampling, testing. Then qualitative and quantitative requirements, storage, etc. Then preparation of the containers and closure. Preparation means before putting the container closure, you have to prepare it. If it is required washing it, you have to do like that. Master formula records 18 number point. So there are 20 number points, actually 29 I think. Packaging records, then batch production, batch packaging records, batch processing records. Hmm. Then standard operating procedures, reference samples, reprocessing and recoveries, validation, reprocessing of the SOP, product batch pre-processing, recovery of the product residual, then distribution records, records for distribution, dispatch, validation studies, written summary report of validation, process and procedure for validation studies, new master formula, validation process, equipment change. So if you change equipment, then also you have to do something. Product recalls. I am coming to the end. and distribution records. Product quality complaint handling is here given. You see 28.2 serious adverse reactions should be taken care and should be analyzed. SOPs for recall of the defective products. And 29 is, I think, so this is the end of the 28, up to 28 it is. So thank you very much for your patient listening. I hope I could give you an overview of the schedule M.
This helps actually. This is really nice. A detailed
And
presentation.
actually, it takes 2 days time to explain everything. There are many annexures
I
also.
fully agree.
I understand. It's very good.
It's an overview, but it's really a very nice. Atulji, you can maybe sir, Mr. Basu, we request you to stay back, and maybe towards the end we'll have some question and answers also. I hope it is fine with you, sir.
Actually,
You
my
have
session
the
is going on there.
Okay. Can I message you? Can I call you when we are ready? Is that
You
fine?
call me anytime.
I'll do that. I'll call you, sir, because there will be some questions actually in the chat box. Otherwise, can you please, because we have Dr. Piyush is also ready. Just there is one question in the chat box. I saw that. Somebody has answered. I don't see the question. Oh, it's there in the chat box, is it? Not in the Q&A.
Why
Yeah.
are pharmas not adopting ISO 3100 risk management frameworks?
These are the questions. This is what a couple of.
Essential, again, the essential here
That is
being
a
the fact
risk
that
management.
correct.
These are all
The
risk
fact again
management
here
plan
being
only. We are asking batch manufacturing record means, and batch manufacturing is a huge Bible type document. So those are all
right.
the risk management already taken care. Only thing is it is a new words you are saying that risk management. Yes, everywhere if it is pharmacovigilance or clinical trial, everywhere we are calling it risk management issues. Risk management not only here, even prescribing information of the medicines, there we have to mention the risk management things. So many things we have to do. Actually, we are in the dialogue also in the authority that we have to do many things in the prescribing information itself of the product. But not exactly ISO we should adopt. That is not the correct thing. Pharmaceutical is a different ball game. ISO is for cement industry, for the kettle manufacturing industry, for the mobile manufacturing industry, for the watch manufacturing industry. Those are not the regulated one, but for the quality maintenance, they do ISO standards. But our US FDA, what they do, or EMA, what they do, or even our authority also adopting the US FDA and EMA shadows of the things, we have taken care of everything in Schedule EM itself. But yes, there is a scope of improvement, and that is why there is a revision going on. And we have to look at the low capital manufacturers also, because many people are employed there, they are thriving upon them. Yes, without compromising the healthcare system also. The recent phenomenon, what has happened in Gambia and Uzbekistan, the death of cough syrup, diethylene glycol, that may not be we cannot pinpoint the blame only on the owner of the company. We have to look at the where is the fault. Maybe the cheap quality diethylene glycol might have got an inroad. So those things can happen. We are not diluting without diluting anything serious.
Thank you very much.
Keeping with the GMP standards in place, and also if we can have certain benchmarks in place in terms of quality, then of course we can always have a lot of improvement areas to work up with.
Actually, implementing is problem. Implementation is the problem. And they are big boss who are operating these manufacturing units.
Right.
They have a backup, good backup.
Thank
So
you,
the problem
Mr.
is in
Sonal Basu.
implementation, not that standards is not written. Standards are written.
Right, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your insights and also a brief but as fast snapshot of the GMP standards. Friends, thank you.
Sorry to go fast.
Sir, can you please turn on your video, Mr. Basu? I mean, a quick pic.
My video, you are not allowing. You cannot start your video because the host has stopped it.
Oh, really? Oh, it just can't be. Let me just host settings. Just 1 second, sir. It just can't be. All others are on the video here. Aarti, can you check the host settings once for turning on the video?
Yeah, ma'am. But
there's no issue. There's
He
no
is having
issue.
permission.
Now
No,
start my video.
Yeah, yes,
now
this
it
is
is
better. Yes.
Yes. Right.
So it's okay now.
Thank you. Yes,
I'm
thank you so
leaving
much.
and I have been connected. I will come back.
I'll
Okay?
call you, sir. No issues.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Basu. We have with us, friends, Dr. Piyush Juneja, who's here as part of our panelist and speaker. Aarti, can we have a slide, please, to introduce her?
Aarti, the creative that I've shared now, just about 5 minutes ago, the recent creative. Posted in the group. Can you check? Or do you want me to share otherwise? Yeah, this is the one. Thank you.
We have Vaidya Dr. Piyush Juneja, who is also the founder of Bharat Vidyas and Indian Vidyas. With a background spanning of 17 years, he holds extensive knowledge and experience in Ayurveda, clinical research, practice, quality standards, digital marketing. And I believe I cannot read. Can you have a full slide, please?
This is the creative. This is
Okay, no problem.
right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Dr. Vidya Piyush Juneja, sir, I would like you to take the floor and give us your viewpoints.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, first of all, to the organizers, Dr. Rama. I'm not aware about you, sir. Dr. Atul
My name is
Mathur.
Atul Mathur.
Great. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I think this is a very interesting aspect which people bother to discuss and to include in your particular this. I think the entire event is focused on quality, and AYUSH is now being considered, I will say, in a serious way as far as quality is concerned. So when I started my professional journey in this space, I remember I started my professional engagement with clinical research and certain other organizations in pharma and healthcare world, and then shifted the focus to AYUSH and Ayurveda eventually. So there was no standards at all initially, but gradually when this entire domain evolved, and after 2014 when ministry came into picture, and the entire scenario and ecosystem changed significantly, and it is now in fact getting evolved in a very you can say speedy manner. I will share some quick updates and I will throw some insights on what exactly the standards right now is. I have not prepared an entire detailed, descriptive, you can say, presentation as far as quality standards of AYUSH is concerned. But yes, we will be focused on two important scenarios today. One is the backbone of the ecosystem, or maybe any healthcare, you can say, system is products. So, what kind of medicines, products we are using in any particular pathy is the backbone, and there the quality should be maintained, as the previous panelists were discussing about some issues with cough syrups in certain countries and so on. So many issues were there with Ayurveda and other Indian system of medicine, pathy medicines also. But gradually now the ecosystem is in place. Most of the companies are following, but yes, still implementation is a challenge in India, which again the previous panelist also confirmed. But it is evolving on a day-by-day basis. And second most important aspect is the service, means the hospitals, the resource, the entire domain. So we'll be focusing on those two. And prior to starting the session, we should be feeling proud that India is also leading in terms of the world is concerned of setting up the standards regarding the quality of traditional medicine systems. At G20 also it has been discussed. And you must be aware about the traditional center of WHO being established in Gujarat. So all these things are going on. And recently, in fact, in June 2023, I think Bureau of Indian Standards is one of the benchmark, you can say, if we are talking about quality. And they have also notified 31 Indian standards related to AYUSH herbs and products. So it's already getting evolved as far as the quality ecosystem is concerned in AYUSH, be it the herbs, be it the raw material, be it the end product, be it the service. So BIS is again there now. And also, as far as Pharmacopoeia Commission for Indian Medicine and Homeopathy is concerned, we'll be talking this in the next coming slides. So it has been established to ensure that again standardization in this particular aspect, and Ministry of Ayush is governing this particular institute, and they have done MOU with American Herbal Pharmacopoeia USA, Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission, also IPC, and many other bodies domestically as well as international ecosystems are concerned, and they are working on again developing. So there was one question in Rajya Sabha and last year in 2022, and our esteemed Minister of Ayush replied. So I have pulled certain points from that reply as well, so that all of you will be aware what exactly is going on, what exactly is there. We will be touching upon the certain parameters in coming slides to understand the entire ecosystem as far as Ayush and specifically Ayurveda is concerned, and other pathies like homeopathy, Unani, Siddha. So almost it is the same as far as the systems are concerned. But yes, every system of medicine and every pathy has their own dynamics also. So with that also we need to understand. So we have to sometimes customize those quality standards as per the requirement of that particular system of medicine as well. So that is again a detailed topic to be discussed. But today we just understand the broad aspect or the major aspect as per the allotted time. I will try to cover upon that. We'll cover up the salient features of this reply, which was shared by Honorable Minister of Ayush, Shri Sonowal ji, in Rajya Sabha. So let's see what kind of steps it has been ministries already taking or they have taken or will be taking. So I will quickly update you as far as DTL, drug testing laboratories, and upgradation and strengthening of Ayush pharmacies are concerned. It's on very speed right now. It's very in a very speedy way. 27 state DTLs have been upgraded, and around 80 plus they have approved new, and it is in like process. Pharmacovigilance again is getting very robust. All India Institute of Ayurveda, Sarita Vihar, National Institute of Ayurveda, Jaipur, BHU, Gujarat Ayurveda University, and many other national reputed institutes of Ayurveda in collaboration with certain leading allopathic hospitals like AIMS, or maybe other state PG like Sanjay Gandhi PG in Lucknow, and many other in regional Manipal in southern part, and so on. So they are in collaboration with these allopathic hospitals also, and standalone as far as Ayurveda secondary or tertiary centers are concerned. They have already activated the pharmacovigilance department in those, and although it's at a very initial level as compared to the allopathic system of medicine, still at least it has been started, it has been developed, and they are like uh, uh, like doing progress on a regular basis. And one more thing is regarding the misleading advertisement. So that ecosystem also have been created under pharmacovigilance, because these systems always get issues in terms of misleading advertisements. So that also been taken care of under pharmacovigilance. Then definitely side effects and other issues as well. Collaboration with BIS, QCI, and other related institutes is already being done, and certain standards we'll be discussing in the later part of this session have been already developed and been implemented, and people are like either the companies who are manufacturing products or medicines, or the hospitals are following those and getting advantage or maybe leverage in terms of increasing the domestic business or the international business is concerned. Then Pharmacopoeia Commission for Indian Medicine and Homeopathy have been established under the aegis of Ministry of Ayush, and they have signed MOU with Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission, that is IPC. The theme is one herb, one standard, so that each herb can have one specific standard in terms of pharmacopoeia is concerned, and that can be replicated and duplicated across the domains. Then also they have signed with American Herbal Pharmacopoeia as well, just to sensitize the international framework, and accordingly to promote and to take the Indian herbs in the export market. Again, the very important aspect. And COPP WHO again is one criteria or one, you can say, certification. If any pharma company or any Ayurveda company who is manufacturing herbal medicines or Ayurveda medicines, or maybe any other system of medicines, Indian system of medicines with herbs, so they can take that, and after that they are eligible if their plant, their manufacturing plant is COPP WHO GMP approved. So there is a GMP, there is a COPP WHO and WHO GMP, you can say, same as applied to other systems, although the maybe volumes or maybe the parameters or sometimes the scale can be bigger or smaller, or maybe certain equipments can be different, as particularly in terms of whatever the dosage forms are there. But again, in the entire ecosystem is almost equivalent to the international standards of any pathy, and that has been followed by leading Ayurveda companies in our country, and that's why they are able to export and to do business in several part of the world globally. So this entire ecosystem is already there. I think most of you are aware about this. Let me just go through a bit in detail about the framework. So as far as standardization of AYUSH products is concerned, so already the comprehensive regulatory framework is there. So either if you talk about Ayurvedic Pharmacopoeia of India, so already around 4,000 plus monographs have been created in that. GMP, as we have already discussed, there are two. One is GMP, another is WHO GMP or COPP. So once you want to manufacture, you have to take GMP as far as Indian regulatory ecosystem is concerned, and accordingly you have to take the registration and licensing. And right now, as far as AYUSH is concerned, it has been delegated or it has been designated to the state, unlike to the counterparts. Like for example, in allopathic system of medicine, there is a central licensing system, but in AYUSH, although the governance or the, you can say, the supervision or maybe the higher authority is AYUSH ministry, but technically you have to apply to the state. For example, if you are in Uttar Pradesh or you are in Karnataka, Gujarat, whatever state, you have to apply to the state director of that particular system of medicine, like in Ayurveda or in homeopathy, Unani, whatever system of medicine you want to. And then they will do the inspection, they will do the audit of your unit. If you are complying the GMP, they will definitely um, supervise. If any query they will raise, you have to resolve that, and then accordingly we can get that, as the other systems are following the same. But yes, the authorities are state right now as far as AYUSH is concerned, but in allopathy it's the central authority. That is one difference we need to understand right now as far as the current existing ecosystem is concerned. Then for AYUSH practitioners also, just to ensure that all the AYUSH practitioners are qualified, their registration, licensing, everything as equivalent as per the other system of medicines are concerned. And in the upcoming draft model of our renewal of registration, till now it is not there, but in the upcoming draft model, the CME points also being included, that whenever we want to renew, and like the same it is there in allopathic system of medicine as well. So we have to complete certain kind of CME credits, and that will definitely add on to our renewal in the maybe next whatever frequency of the years they will decide. Although it's in draft, but it is there written. So the thing is, as per the international standards and as per the other pathies, the same is getting applicable in AYUSH and Ayurvedic specifically. And quality assurance, again, in terms of establishing AYUSH hospitals and dispensaries, SOPs and regulatory and monitoring and inspection, all those aspects are being taken care of. AYUSH hospitals are right now being accredited by QCI, Quality Council of India, under the same NABH aspect where they are doing for other pathy hospitals. Although the basic scheme is entry level as far as a basic daycare hospital is concerned, and there are IPD and other aspects as well. We will be discussing that also in upcoming slides. So, but that is there, NABH scheme, like entry level accreditation and the main IPD hospital accreditation as well. And after that, the panel, as far as the medical insurance, the government, central government, state government panels, boards, and everything can be empaneled to that particular setup, and the like common people, the patients, and the people who are want to take healthcare services, they can take the benefits also of their medical insurance policies or their panel, whatever they are eligible for. So the same is now being implemented in the AYUSH hospital space as well. So that is the advantage. However, the idea and the intention is to create a standard, to create an accreditation model, so that the SOPs, the various procedures, the various modalities, because still it's a very dynamic stream in terms of the treatment modalities and the treatments are concerned. But at least to create a framework, to create an ecosystem, this has been done. We'll be showing you that in coming slides. And for AYUSH research, also promotion in terms of AYUSH research centers, we have GCP, ASU as well, as far as Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani medicines are concerned. So good clinical practices for doing clinical research and clinical trial, it's already being there, drafted and finalized and released by Ministry of AYUSH, and CTRI registration and other aspects are there. So although we are far ahead in terms of developing an ecosystem of international standards, but still we have developed very significantly, and we are at par, I will say, or equivalent in many aspects. In many studies we have seen, and now the journals are being published in international journals as well. Certain journals have been reached to BMJ, Lancet, and other. So that means the quality is there in terms of research, and that's why they are getting published also. So these are initial days, but yes, it's going on, and the research aspect also being governed and controlled and regulated by the quality standards. So as far as AYUSH certification program is concerned, by NABH, there are various um, uh, categories. The entry level hospital means if you have a 5-bedded or 10-bedded setup, you can avail that, and the standards and the parameters are almost you can say at par with any international aspects are concerned in terms of continuity of care, care of patients, management of medications, patient right and education, hospital infection control, continuous quality improvement, responsibilities of management, facility management and safety, HR management, IMS. All these are being taken care of as far as the entry level standards for AYUSH hospital is concerned. And as I said, that has been governed by the honorable body that is taking care of the other systems as well, Quality Council of India. And after this, we can avail certain panels, certain insurance, and other benefits as well. And international also, like medical tourism and other aspects are also being taken care of after this. And then if we talk about products or the companies. So there are two aspects in that. One is the AYUSH premium mark, and another is the AYUSH standard mark. So as far as AYUSH premium mark is concerned, again, it's a voluntary scheme right now. It's not mandatory, but the government of India, Ministry of AYUSH has done certain kind of MOUs with certain countries where if your company has AYUSH premium mark, your products are being preferred. So that kind of ecosystem they are creating to give companies maximum leverage of the investments they are doing in getting AYUSH premium for the international markets are concerned. And AYUSH standard is for the domestic market, that your products are AYUSH standard mark and being recognized and being seen as a credible products. So although again the implementation challenge or maybe the marketing is not that much exhaustive, the concept is beautiful, the concept is nice, and the marking, the certification, or you can say the labeling of products with AYUSH premium and AYUSH standard will definitely ensure fortification in terms of the quality. On one side, GMP is, let me just summarize. On one side, GMP has GMP is the mandatory requirement of regulatory, that you have to at least have GMP plant. So you already have GMP, and if you want to go international, you have to take COPP or WHO GMP. That is the mandatory requirement, and this is the optional thing. But if you take this, the credibility boost or the quality also standards doubles up. And if it is being preferred in certain countries, why not your business also boosts? So that is the linkage which government is trying to do, and successfully done for certain countries, but still huge amount of growth and scope is there. But again, the concept is excellent. We have all the detailed information. Maybe next time, whenever we'll get better time of 1.5 hour, we can we can have a detailed discussion about these. But right now, today, I want to again touch upon certain aspects, and it's a very important document because sometimes or many times Ayurveda and other Ayush system of medicines have been seen that okay, they don't follow certain quality aspects, or every time people are pointing about heavy metals or impurities or those kind of stuff. So why I have shown this document, you can clearly see that it is written. The criteria or the inclusion criteria, or I will say the eligibility criteria, is very stringent itself. Forget about the entire, you can say, standards of the entire document in terms of what exactly the requirements are there. So compliance to GMP or the WHO GMP. So for premium, it is WHO guidelines. For AYUSH standard, it is the domestic regulatory requirement, which is clearly written. But yes, if heavy metals are not applicable, definitely it will not have. If other aspects are there, we need to take an account as far as the quality is concerned. So permissive level of all the contaminants, whatever the importing countries, their regulations should be identified, because in certain Middle East country there are certain ingredients which are not allowed. So we need to keep all those aspects in mind as well, along with the quality and the standardization which we are talking about. So on this note, I will like conclude this session, and I will request all of you to open up for the discussions. Hope I was able to give you an insight about the ecosystem which exists in Ayush space as far as the uh, products, that is GMP, WHO GMP, and the additional premium and standard mark are concerned, and the NABH entry level model as far as the Ayush hospitals and centers are concerned. And third is, as I mentioned about the clinical research, the GCP is there. So any detailed question discussion we can do, or maybe in any forthcoming session we can have a detailed discussion on each aspect as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Piyush Januja. We do have a certain sessions where we can have a question and session. We can conduct it. In case do we have any sessions, questions?
We do have Atulji, one or two
Okay.
questions, maybe. One is in the chat box, one is in the Q&A.
Dr. Januja, this is a question which is basically asking about what is an ecosystem taking care of the hybrid of Ayush and allopathy. So that is what we citizens see more commonly. Can you give a brief on this?
Great, very important question. In fact, I have seen another very interesting question in the chat box by Dr. Suresh. I will come to you, Dr.
That's
Suresh.
right.
Let me just first answer this. See, first of all, we need to understand as far as taking care of hybrid of Ayush and allopathy. I will not label this in this sense. I will label, or I want to quote this, or I want to edit your question, and I want to add the word integration or fortification. See, sometimes we need to understand there are challenges and there are issues with each system of medicine. So we are not criticizing here any system of medicine, or we are not praising here any system of medicine. We need to understand that every system of medicine have certain merits and demerits, and but we pick merits of each system, and when we combine, we have seen that patients are ultimately getting benefited, be it the lifestyle disorders, be it sometimes the chronic conditions, be it sometimes the infectious disease, especially the MDRs of the world. So all these aspects, like in our clinical practices, we have seen that all the antibiotics are resistant in the report, and still patients are responding by decreasing in the infection in their culture reports by administrating certain Ayurveda or others Indian system of medicines. That is one just aspect I am sharing here. So the idea here is integration already being practiced and implemented in very leading organizations or centers or hospitals of our country. If you talk about government space, All India Institute of Ayurveda or the AIMS, they are already doing certain MOUs. You can visit and you can see that model of integration. Medanta, Apollo, and other private players have already started that integration model. So there is a beautiful integration model where both pathies are being respected and being taken care of. There is nothing called as hybrid. We need to understand, and accordingly we need to take it forward from here. The second question was why double standard should be allowed in the medicines, lower for domestic, higher for export. Let me explain this, Dr. Suresh. There is not kind of double standards, first of all. The same applies to allopathic system of medicine also. If any Indian company wants to manufacture for Indian markets, for Indian scenarios, there is a set of standards, and when they have to go to the export market, they have to convert them into a WHO GMP facility. Same applies for Ayurveda and other system of medicines also. It's just same. It's just a copy paste thing, nothing else. So the same questions applies for pharma also, and maybe my senior and superior pharma experts in the pen can answer better than me. But for me, as I've seen this, the entire ecosystem has been copied paste from the allopathic system, and the same scenarios have been implemented here. And the second aspect to this is this particular domain is very, very small and at a very initial level in terms of the fundings, in terms of the amount being invested to create an international facility. Because so that ecosystem also we need to understand. So by again, I'm not saying that AYUSH standard or AYUSH premium, so AYUSH premium is in superior and AYUSH standard is inferior. No, the product is same. It's just some more extra quality standards you are following for AYUSH premium. And again, in Indian market also, many companies are promoting AYUSH premium as well. It's not that AYUSH premium will sell to only export population. Indian population are also, it's just same that you have two kind of dal. One is the basic dal and there is the organic dal in your kitchen. So it's just, but it's not that the basic dal is also poisonous. No, you can eat, and most of us are eating the basic dal also, and we are also eating the organic dal. So it's like same in terms of if you want to develop an understanding. Hope I was able to answer your question. Any other question we can have in the discussion session? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I
Dr.
believe
Suresh.
Dr. Sudhir would like to ask a query here.
Dr. Piyush, thank you. Thank you for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Piyush, I'm sitting in Dubai, and now this is actually a very typical question when we ask to Indian manufacturer, sir, you have a wonderful product as we claim, and it has a wonderful legacy and everything, but can you get me a GMP? And then the problem starts. They are not ready with that actually, and some of them are Vaidyas. Now, Vaidyas in India actually get the permission to manufacture the product without going for elaborate GMP application, is what I understand. And their products are very superior. They come up, they bring here many products, but when we ask them, sir, can you do that? The answer is no. And there are many such Vaidyas which are having a wonderful furnace, but not able to export to the this part of the world or any other part of the world because GMP is not there, FSC is not available, on top of it, so many other requirements. So I think this is an area where we guys, or maybe we, it's a very small segment, NRI, but we don't get that benefit of our great traditions. So I think this is also an area where I don't know whether some work is really happening or not. If you have certain insights, if you can just share with us, that would be better.
Yeah, so just I want to quote two case stories here with you, and then maybe in detail we can have a further discussion on one-to-one basis. So in Indian Vedas, basically we are trying to create a platform where we are uplifting the Ayurveda doctors from their ecosystem to another level of ecosystem. And last year we connected with two, one from Rajasthan and another from Bangalore. Both doctors have the same aspect of having their own formulations as a Vaidya they have developed. One is working on anorectal and another is working on gynecological disorder. We connected them to the GMP facility as per their budget, because generally the budgets are small in terms of a third party manufacturing order or a low licensing order. So we created that ecosystem. Now they have launched their professional range of products with GMP certification without any investment. It's a like of a order based model. They have this facility which is already GMP approved. Their formula is secured because they own the IP. So we are creating that very soon. We are launching our apps and we'll be creating that ecosystem with other Vaidyas. Our target is to start with 10,000 Vaidyas first. We have a database of around 1 lakh Vaidyas, and we will be very much happy to collaborate or associate with you and maybe any other person on board in any aspect, by the way, because all of you are experts from quality. You want to give your services in terms of consultant, or you want to create some kind of platform with the current organizers, the consultant consortium, we can have certain kind of MOU and we can take it forward from there, because it will be creating a huge amount of work for us as well. It's just started. As far as the quality aspect in AYUSH, which I have reviewed, like when I was preparing for this session, so many companies need, so many hospitals need, so many Vaidyas need, and we don't have any workforce and we don't know where to go, whom to approach. So that kind of gaps are there. So maybe we can have a separate session anytime on our platform also. We welcome consultants, consortium also, and all the experts, that let's discuss in this and let's create some solutions so that the entire fraternity will be benefited. Thank you.
Yeah, that'll be a great thing to do. We definitely would like
Thank
to
you, Doctor.
look forward for such sessions.
Thank you.
And if you allow Dr. Piyush, I think I like the idea of cloud Ayurvedic GMP manufacturing facility. That's what I think you are trying to create after
Yes.
the cloud kitchen. This is going to be a big thing as far as India is concerned.
So we have cracked
let's all
manufacturers,
join
they
a
are
hand
ready.
and try and do
Yeah.
something.
So we have cracked
Super,
manufacturers, they are ready to fulfill a 10,000 amount order also for any doctor in third party mode. So the cost is reduced and they are getting a GMP facility experience. So that is, so quality is our focus, that at least the product should carry quality.
That's right. Great. Thank you, Dr. Piyush for the enlightening session on a detailed understanding of what the AYUSH certification and everything is about. Thank you, sir. In case of any other questions we can address, let me just look it up. There aren't any more questions, but if there's anyone else who would, from the idea of, would like to ask any queries, I presume so. No. Right. Thank you, Doctor. We
Thank you.
carry forward to Dr. Sudhir, who has joined us all the way from Dubai. And can we have his introduction, ma'am? Aarti? Yes. Dr. Sudhir Savarkar, who is presently the global head of the Consumer Product Regulatory Affairs for Fair Solutions. He's a pharmacist, chemist, biotechnologist by qualification and profession. He's also a subject matter expert of quality, regulatory, laboratory, sustainability, health, environment, regulatory, and manufacturing. He has over 26 years of industry experience, including consulting and manufacturing domain. Dr. Sudhir has an area of expertise, regulatory affairs, medicines, medical devices, cosmetic, food, dietary supplement, herbal medicine, home care products, packaging materials, pharma, medicine, environmental regulations, clinical and non-clinical studies. He is also a lead auditor in the QMS, EMS, and OHS, as well as in 50001, FSCC, 2101, ASAP, and ISO 37101, Sustainability Development Systems. Also in 37101, 2006, and BRCGS, FS Issue 9, and BRCGS Package 6. Dr. Sudhir Savarkar, who will be talking with us. I take the floor to you, Dr. Sudhir, please. Welcome over.
Thank you, Atul sir, and thank you, Rama ma'am, for connecting and giving a chance to present the perspective. I know the experts are here actually, so definitely I would say it's an humble attempt to present what is currently happening in at a global level, which is specifically a GCC, and I'll be mostly on a email. So, so this is what it is. So if everybody can see my slides, then I can start.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. So thank you, esteemed panel member, as well as all the viewers and the attendees. This is Dr. Sudhir. I belongs to a company called Fairs actually, which is a regulatory giant. Yeah. So today I will be covering a regulatory pathway medical device market entry in GCC. So it's not going to be a very technical discussion, but what I would say is a business link actually. So I think the introduction has already happened, so I'll not spend time actually. I just would like to add that I authored the chapters and the books on a global regulatory perspective in regenerative medicine, as well as nasal drug delivery products. So that was from Nature Springer, just to add that. Okay.
That was interesting.
So, yeah, thank you, Arvind sir. So we all know GCC is a desert. So, but again, it is getting converted into oases. There are high rises, yeah, and the cities such as Dubai being very much talked everywhere. And many people get confused that GCC means Dubai or they say Saudi. So I just would like to tell you that GCC is basically 6 countries which consist of United Arab Emirates, wherein we have Dubai as one of the cities. But looking at what you can say, its popularity because of a destination, it is very much in discussion. There is, apart from that, there is a region called MENA, Middle East and North Africa. Now that consists of GCC. So this is how the graph of these 2 territories look like. The first one is the Gulf cooperation countries, which are 6 countries. And believe me, here you could see that Saudi is the biggest. So the biggest market for anything and everything is the Saudi Arabia. In terms of location, in terms of different social groups availability. So everything is available in Saudi Arabia. Followed by that is, again, you would call it as Oman. Okay, then there is a UAE. UAE is not very big, but very popular amongst these particular GCC countries. And then we have a Kuwait, and then there is a smaller countries such as Bahrain. So that's how the GCC is made up of. But when you talk about GCC along with certain African countries, North African countries such as Egypt, Sudan, Chad, Libya, Algeria. So these are the countries which again forms a bigger group, and we call it as MENA. So when Indian exporter or any exporter across the globe looks at the Middle East, they look at the MENA because they are almost like similar in terms of their somewhere, yeah, it's a developing, but they follow the similar language. The culture is same. The requirements of the regulatory is also same. Yes, there are difference in the intensity of the implementation. That is where the Saudi, UAE, Kuwait, Qatar, they are quite strong in that. Okay. So yeah, as a group, I need not to tell you what is the medical devices, but I would tell that the Ministry of Health and Prevention classifies a medical device is any instrument, apparatus, implement, machine, appliance, implant, reagent for the, for in vitro use, software material and other similar or related article. In fact, today the mobile devices which we see, the wristwatches which we see is also considered to be a medical devices. And there is an attempt to get those things also registered in Middle East as a medical devices. Huawei is very strong in that, and they are basically making a big case that their product should be approved as a medical device. The medical device intended use for it is basically the product which is meant for diagnosis or mitigating or treating the illness or the injury. So apart from that, medical devices also covers the span of equipment which are used for examining, reporting, supporting replace life systems or life supporting procedures, as well as controlling the origin or sanitizing of these devices. In fact, in Saudi, the sanitizers as well as toothpaste are considered as the medical devices because they want to bring more stringency into the system. Finally, it covers the devices intended for the in vitro examination of any part of the body. So this is the medical device definition as far as local Ministry of Health, that is UAE Ministry of Health, as well as Gulf. There is also a central body which is we will talk about in the next slide. So if you look at the market in 2023, if you look close to around 9.52 billion US dollars, that's what we are talking about. Yeah. In fact, in 2028, it is likely to grow up to the tune of $11 billion is what we are, I mean, it is estimated. Yeah. And most important, the cardiology is the biggest segment, which is really growing very fast. And that is the biggest market as far as medical device market in GCC. This is the global figure. I will not spend much time, but it shows that there is a tremendous increase in the medical device market. Yeah, so there are many products which were one time was not considered. They are also now part of a medical devices, what you can say, classification because of its utility claims. So these are the regulatory agencies in GCC, which are like Saudi FDA, Saudi Food and Drug Administration, Saudi Ministry of Health, that is the agency. Then we have the Ministry of Health and Prevention in UAE. We have the Ministry of Public Health in State of Qatar, Ministry of Health, Sultanate of Oman. Yeah, so basically the Ministry of Health, and there is another agencies which are similar to, which are in administration. So it's also two-layer system in most of these countries. One is at the ministerial level and another is at the, you can call it as at the bureaucratic level. So that is what it goes. Then basically, as I discussed, if you want to enter into the GCC market, or specifically we will talk about UAE, but if you wish to enter into a GCC market with the medical product, there are two ways to enter into this market. One is at the country level. You apply to the country level, such as Saudi Arabia, you go to the UAE, you go to the Bahrain and apply to those particular agencies, and you will get the country-specific, country-level approval. But in line with the EU or any other, what you can call it as a group of countries, the GCC has also the Gulf Health Council. Now, that Gulf Health Council consists of the members from various, what you can say, a national regulatory body, and they form the Gulf Health Council. Now, once you have these particular approvals, which is central approvals, the getting the national level approvals are easy. So there are people who try to go for a central registration and then they move to the country specific registration. So, but many people doesn't know that if they do a central registration, it's quite easy to enter into all these markets. And very clearly, not only once you are approved in a GCC, many of the North African countries also accept your product very easily. So that's how the synergy in this particular countries. Prerequisite for regulatory registration, I would say. Like every registration, you need to have, you cannot directly, like somebody sitting in America cannot directly market the product in any of the GCC countries. They have to have something called local representative. Yeah. So the entity which has basically, which is approved by Ministry of Health, can only import the medical devices and sell the devices to the local market. So that is called local representative, that is called local distributor. So that is really required. You cannot sell the material if you are foreign company. You can only sell through the local representative distributor of yours, which has a drug license, a drug warehouse. Now that's the second requirement. Medical devices like even gloves, then basically surgical gloves or needles, nobody can sell it unless and otherwise. Even importation is also not possible. Initial days, some 5-6 years, it used to happen that gloves or some of the what you can say low risk medical devices, even high risk also were imported by non or general trading companies, but not, that is no more the case now. Then you need to have a drug warehouse to register the product as well as import the product. Now, there is another point which is very important, is like market authorization holder. Now, again, a market authorization holder by nature is a manufacturer, but yeah, and the companies which are basically incorporated in the country with a certain authorization they can definitely hold that particular product. So market authorization holders are very, very important. And there's a special application for this also. Then basically the local companies can act on the behalf of the manufacturer, and they need to take a prior approval to enter into the market. As I talked about a drugstore, actually, now drugstore is similar to that of maybe a drug warehouse or a drugstore in India. So to sell any pharmaceutical product or a medical product or a medical device, the product has to basically distribute it through a drugstore. And the drugstore can only act as as we say, is an agent. So that is what it is actually. So the requirement for the drugstore is very simple, that the company has to be incorporated in a local jurisdiction, not in a free zone. If you have the local, we can call it the mainland company, they can distribute the product. Now, the company can only be owned by the local shareholder. That is basically the 51% should go to the local partner, and then 49% can be with anybody. And this is the case with the health product. In all health businesses, license will belongs to the local shareholder at the level of 51%, and 49% can be held by anybody else actually. As we know that there is a good storage practices, so Dubai or GCC follows the good storage practices. So it has to be temperature controlled, humidity controlled, depending on the product requirement, whether it has to be kept at a very lower temperature. Air conditioning is must actually. So if it is a lower temperature, you have to basically go deep freezer, and those sort of facility also need to be put in. And one of the most important requirement as far as the resources is concerned, the person working there has to be having experience, and it has to be registered with local health authority. Now, local health authorities meaning like there is one more agency called Dubai Health Authority or maybe Abu Dhabi Health Authority. Now, they do also have a registration of pharmacists. So you have to get the registration for from these agencies. Very important part which most of the trader I have seen get confused. They say this is our product and we want to sell it into the market. What they don't, or you please get the product registered. Now, getting a product is not difficult, but most important task is that what is that product is actually. So most of the time people come up with a very invasive sort of a product and says that, okay, this product is in this market is selling without any registration, you should register or something. These are the biggest challenge and most of the time we face. Yeah, because they think that probably African as well as the Arabian region is still not developed as far as the regulation is concerned. But that is not the case now. It's a very, very clear-cut mandatory requirement that any product which has a very high risk sort of a use definitely has to go through a scrutiny of the Ministry of Health or enforcement authority. So the classification is important. Now for the classification, it's very simple. The product details, product claims, product label has to be submitted to the Ministry of Health, and they will basically examine basis all this detail available, and they will take a call whether it is very it's a low risk or it's a high risk, and depending on that they will classify the product. Sometimes they find no, product is not at all in their jurisdiction. They will say, sorry, this cannot be classified as a drug or a medical devices. You will have to go to the local authorities such as municipalities. Now, cosmetics in many cases are sort of a low risk, and they ask the trader to go to the municipalities or a local public health department to register their product, or a consumer health department product, not a public health, it's a consumer health department. So that is where the product gets registered. So classification is what we normally recommend that we must do it, because we have a full clarity before we investing on the huge documentation or a nil documentation. So that is where the most important part is. And once we know that it is what type of medical device or something, then we can build on our documentation. We can put our various then we go for a site registration and other things can follow after the classification letter. Now, classification letter is valid for actually for 5 years, 3 years actually, and license is valid for 5 years. So classification will talk about what type of product it is and what category it is falling as far as the regulatory is concerned. So this is how the classification letter looks like. Actually, I have hidden the product name. Yeah, so they are basically, again, as per international guideline in Europe or in US, actually, they also follow the similar rule. So I would also tell you that if the products are registered or medical devices are registered in Europe or in US, the path is very, very simple. And from India, there is a special, because of CIFA, there is what you can say, an agreement in between the both of these countries that in EVA specifically, there is a green corridor to the product which are already approved in USA by US FDA or European medicinal authorities. So that is what is quite a beneficial actually. Many of the people is doing that, and their business gets started very fast actually because they do have this thing available. And yeah, so classification, as I think I will not get into the detail of the classification, but yeah, lowest is the class 1 and the highest risk is again class 4, wherein we can talk about heart valves maybe, or maybe certain implantable. Yeah, so that sort of a classification is definitely there. Yeah, and if you have a already registered product, getting the product in this part of the world is very, very easy. So if we have everything in place, actually, we have to also imagine you have a class 3 and class 4 product. Now, those medical devices need to go through a little more higher level of stringency, because you have to also get your manufacturing site registered, inspected through a local authorities. Yeah. So this is specifically true only for a high risk medical devices. Yeah. So manufacturing sites are again need to first, there are online application system which is there actually. On that, you have to apply for a manufacturing site registration, product registration, quality certification, or a quality testing. So there are various files, various dossiers which we have to download, or you can say apply through a portal. I'll show you the portal preview also. So all the documents which are linked to the company, such as legal, the company license or a pre-sales license, or maybe all these things should be legalized through a embassy of a country, such as UAE embassy in India has to legalize all these licenses, and then it can be submitted to the local authorities. Yeah. We have to have a site master file. Then we have to have certified copies of certificates of registration of a good manufacturing practices of a manufacturing site in other countries. And as we all know that for all medical devices, it is better to have 13485 ISO certified certificate also. And if that can be legalized and from a competent authority, that makes life quite easy as far as getting the product registered. Okay, let's look at the documents required while submission. I think we talked about this, but 2-3 things I would like to point out here actually. Getting a pre-sales certificate or a registration certificate from India is the toughest I could see in many times. I don't know. Now their system has changed, but yes, that is the biggest challenge which Indian exporters face actually. Across the globe, sometimes, it's not that tough actually, but yes. Then basically we talk about agency contract. Now you have a local representative or a distributor. You have to have a proper contract with them. We are signed between the companies and the agent. Then certificate of conformity. Now this is what we discussed before also. Suppose you could have in your product registered already in European Union. So definitely you will have a European conformity certificate. You could also, 510K pre-market notification, PMA part manufacturer approval. As per the classification of the equipment, you can definitely attach, and that becomes the life becomes quite easy actually. You have to have a complete quality system presented also to them, saying that we do have a monitoring, post-marketing monitoring system in place actually. So all these documents, which are in detail actually, has to be submitted to the authorities. Yeah. And then they review it, and that's how the approval of the medical devices comes in actually. I had basically talked about this before, but the system is very simple. Both entire Saudi, Kuwait, Qatar, Kuwait is still developing, but Saudi and UAE has a very strong online portal system for a registration. What we have to do, we have to open our login, create a login ID with the local, you can say the identification similar. There's something called Emirates ID for what you can say for a person who is opening that particular account, and then you load the entire details in a module wise actually. So then you submit it, they review it. There are very stringent, what you can say, the turnaround time, and they really fulfill that. They adhere to that particular tag and then revert also. And in case after the feedback there is certain remarks, we need to again resubmit those query error replies, and then they again review. Finally, we get the approvals and maybe sometime rejection also. So there is a technical committee to review that. One more important point, that the pricing of the medicinal product or a medicinal devices. Now, those prices are depend on the entire cost of your manufacturing, cost of your importation, cost of your local distribution, cost of your local what you can say margins and all. So there is a specific very exhaustive exercise which product marketeer does, is a price calculation. This price has to be submitted to the price committee. There is a regulation also that if you are a first one to put into the market, so what you get the most of the time the best rate. But if you are coming the second, then there is a certain percentage of the reduction in the rate of the price which you get actually, although you might be producing at a higher cost, but that is it actually, because the first mover advantage, they give it to someone who basically bring the innovative product in the market. But next product is what you can say the prices is approved lower than that. There are certain percentage depending on the classification or a category of the product. And the entire thing is done through a ministerial committee. Finally, all your approvals are signed by His Excellency's ministers, and licenses are valid for the 5 years. So that's what is the process of the registration. And that's basically with an example of a UAE, what I told you. Now we talked about GCC central registration. Process-wise, it is same. There is a app, you can say, or a portal, Town, which is a collaborative portal between the GCC member states. That's for drug as well as medical devices companies. So they can apply this thing. It can be accessed through outside the GCC also. Now, this portal was in a development stage. That's the reason I had written that portal will actually, but portal is now many ways activated, and that is basically now in use. So this is how there are two certificates which I could see actually. This is how the registration certificate by GCC Council looks like. That's what from my side. I'm thankful to you guys for a patience hearing, and if you have any questions, query, please shoot to me. I will try my level best to get you that particular clarification. Thank you. Thank you. That's it from my side.
Thank you, Dr. Sudeep. That was quite an elaborate and a wonderful presentation, detailed presentation that you've gone across. So thank you, sir, for a detailed insight. Just a small query which nudges me is that I'm sure with a lot of automation happening in the GCC, how would the critical data handling be done? Because in terms of data, a lot of data is going to get moved from the customer as well as from the medical terminologies in terms of the standards or how would that be handled, and with respect to the regulations?
Right. Now, most of these agencies are moving towards the GDPR compliance.
Right.
And even they are also demanding a strong GDPR compliant to the devices which are software based actually. So even recently, a Dubai Health Authority has come up and regulation that all the portals or maybe aggregators. I'm basically talking two parts. One is like someone who is an aggregator, someone who is basically handling the patient data. That is basically dealt with very severe level of security. All these guys who are handling need to have ISO 27001. And apart from that, GDPR compliance is what they are demanding now. They are also coming up with their own standard. So earlier it was almost like data was floating from here and there actually. But post-COVID, they become very vigilant, and even the companies which are basically now app-based services, they are putting a lot of rigor to control them, and especially do a special screening. There are separate approvals being. I mean, we need to solve concern. All these agencies, specifically UAE, Saudi, Kuwait. Qatar, they are also moving towards a very strong, what you can say, compliances for data. Dubai as well as Saudi, I can guarantee it's a quite tight system. There is a very, but yes, sometimes somewhere small incidents has been reported in the past. I think they are taking it very seriously, and hopefully they will have fully compliant.
Okay, that's nice to hear about it. We
Thank
have
you,
a
sir.
query here. Can you? I'll just take the query, quote unquote. Can you please elaborate regarding mentioned agreement between India and GCC? If my device is CE certified in Europe, how it can easily be registered with GCC? Can you please also
Okay.
share reference of agreement for review and evaluation? Okay.
Atulji,
Yeah.
Yes,
quick,
ma'am.
quick. Just
Yeah.
1 second, Dr. Sudhi. A quick request, because this is a common session for medical devices between two different markets. Just wondering
That's
whether we
right.
can have a Q&A common after the session is over.
Yes, we can
That is
do
what.
it.
But we can request Dr. Sudhi. You're going to be here, right? We can request him to answer this. Actually, you're going to be here for some time because Mr. Dimitrios also. Yeah, because Dimitrios also can complete his session. It's a common session on medical devices.
Correct.
Q&A
Okay,
can be
sure.
clubbed together. It's just a suggestion. Okay. Right.
Yeah, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone. Yeah.
Welcome, Dimitrios. And I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Good. Okay. I just have to have a small introduction of Demetrius. Karthik, can I have a slide, please? Mr. Demetrios Katasia is Senior Global Manager of the International Accreditation Services. He serves as a Senior Global Manager for Testing Laboratories and Food Accreditation Programs with IAS, and also handles the US FDA Third Party Certification Program, the FDA ASCA program, and Medical Laboratory program. He has more than 15 years of experience with conformity assessment bodies, trainings, and standardization. Dimitrios is also the MMC Vice President of IHAF, which is the International Halal Accreditation Forum, and is involved in several ISO and ISO CASCO related committees about food safety management systems and product certifications. He is also a member of the IAF Food WG and the ILAC AIC and ILAC 15189WG. He is the main IAS contact person for all US FDA regulated accreditation programs implemented by IAS. Mr. Dimitrios Katasirias, I have the floor, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Atul. So it's a pleasure to be here with you today. I listened very carefully to all the previous presentations, and I would really like to follow up after what Dr. Sudhir just mentioned, because our topics are similar, but with different markets. So it is good that I got the lead from Dr. Sudhir so I can expand on the European Union and US markets as well. So let me share a small presentation I put together for this event. And let me know if you can, let me see that.
Yes.
Okay, can you check, can you see that?
Yes, yes, yes.
It's visible.
Okay, excellent. So basically, I will give you some details about the medical device market entry in EU and US. Not going through many details about the registration processes and everything else, because more or less, I mean, it's similar to what it has been mentioned already, but with different probably stakeholders as well. So first of all, we need to understand the medical devices market landscape. Some statistics were given before from some previous presenters. The global medical device market is projected to reach more than $612 billion by 2025. And the European medical device market was valued at 116.5 billion in 2019, whereas the US medical devices market was valued at 156.2 billion in 2019. The European Union is the second largest medical devices market globally, only after the US, which is the largest medical device market. The European Union medical device market is expected to grow up to 4.7% till 2027. And the US market will grow up to 5.6% in the same period of time. I would also like to mention the classification of medical devices in European Union and US. It is quite similar, meaning that you still have three classes in both cases. The European Union market has a risk-based classification system for medical devices, ranging from class 1 to class 3, class 3 being the more risky, let's say, category, whereas they have class 2A and class 2B sub-classifications there. In the US market, there is a classification system for medical devices ranging from class 1 to class 3, with some additional categories for in vitro diagnostic devices. The regulatory framework in those two regions is in EU, the regulatory framework for medical devices governed by the Medical Devices Regulation, the so-called MDR, and the European Union market requires CE marking for medical devices to demonstrate compliance with safety and performance requirements. In the US, the US regulatory framework is overseen by the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, and the US market requires a pre-market approval or clearance through the 510(k) pathway for medical devices. Let's now see who oversees the market in EU and the US. So the EU market requires a notified body to assess the conformity of medical devices with the applicable regulations. The European Union market allows for mutual recognition of conformity assessments conducted by notified bodies in other EU member states. The process can be complex and also time-consuming, requiring thorough documentation and evidence of compliance. This is one of the reasons why the MDR, which is, let's say, introduced the last couple of years, is still not into full effect, because there are many delays with the process of notification of third parties in the EU market. So not many of the manufacturers have achieved any kind of compliance status with MDR until now. In the US market, the US market relies on the FDA for the review and approval of medical devices. The US market does not have a mutual recognition agreement for conformity assessment with other countries. The 510(k) pathway allows for clearance based on substantial equivalence to a legally marketed device, while the PMA pathway requires more extensive clinical data. The FDA review process can also be time-consuming, and also companies must provide some comprehensive data for safety, effectiveness, and quality to support their application. Apart from all the safety requirements, we also have the medical devices that are being tested for biocompatibility, which is also another case for those types of medical devices. The post-market surveillance requirements for medical devices in the EU are basically under the MDR and the IVDR, the two regulations that are being enforced in the EU. And under those regulations, the manufacturers are required to establish and maintain a post-market surveillance system. The system should include procedures for collecting and analyzing data on the performance and safety of their devices, as well as for mechanisms for reporting any adverse events or incidents. The manufacturers must also have a designated person responsible for post-market surveillance with the appropriate qualification and experience. Manufacturers are also required to actively monitor the market for any new information that may affect the safety or performance of their devices, and this includes monitoring scientific literature, databases, and other sources of information. If any new information becomes available at any given time, manufacturers must assess its impact on their devices and take appropriate actions, such as updating the instructions for use, the manuals, or implementing any corrective measures. The MDR and IVDR also introduce the concept of a unique device identifier, UDI, which is a unique code assigned to each medical device. This UDI should be included on the device label and packaging, as well as in the corresponding documentation. So that's very important when you want to market your product in the EU. In the US, the medical device manufacturers are required to report any adverse events or incidents related to their devices to the FDA. This includes incidents that result in death or serious injury, as well as events that could potentially lead to harm. The FDA uses this information to identify any trends, to assess the safety of the devices, and also to take any appropriate activities and actions to protect the public health. In addition to what we mentioned about adverse incident or adverse event reporting, medical device manufacturers are also required to conduct post-market studies or surveillance to gather additional data on the safety and performance of their devices. These studies may be required as a condition of FDA approval or may be requested by the FDA if there are concerns about the device's safety or effectiveness. The FDA also has the authority to require post-market surveillance studies for certain high-risk devices. These studies are designed to gather long-term data on the device's safety and effectiveness in real-world use. The results of these studies can help inform regulatory decisions and ensure that devices continue to meet safety and performance standards. Another important topic that I would like to mention here is during my discussions with FDA all those years, there is an enhanced, let's say, marketing of medical devices that are marketed in the US as FDA approved. FDA does not say at any point that they are approving, let's say, medical devices, and so as the manufacturers cannot claim that on their packaging or on the marketing material that this is FDA approved. They can get the license that they need to market the product, but they should not market the product as FDA approved. That's not under the regulation. There is also one FDA accreditation scheme for conformity assessment called the ASCA program, which is relatively new, like about 3 years old. And it started as a pilot program. And now it has become a permanent program for FDA. And it started with the intent of the manufacturers to have specific conditions of testing of their medical devices around the world so that they do not need to be tested again when the product enters the US market. So accreditation bodies may apply to the FDA for the ASCA recognition. will grant then ASCA recognition to the accreditation bodies who meet the qualifications specified in the ASCA program guidance. IES, for example, is one of the few accreditation bodies that has been recognized by this program. And testing laboratories, the next step, can apply to FDA for ASCA accreditation in a two-step process that begins with an assessment by an ASCA-recognized accreditation body to ISO IC 17025 and also the additional ASCA specifications. Basically, there are some guideline documents that have been posted by FDA into the FDA ASCA webpage, which outlines the additional requirements for the biocompatibility test methods and also for the basic safety test methods. So there are two categories of test methods that are recognized by FDA for this program. FDA will also grant ASCA accreditation to organizations who meet the ASCA qualifications and have already undergone the accreditation by an approved and recognized by FDA accreditation body. So first we have the testing laboratory shall apply to a recognized accreditation body by FDA for the ASCA program. If this goes well and the testing lab gets accredited for this program by an AB, then they should apply to FDA for also the ASCA recognition, which is called under the regulation as FDA ASCA accreditation. A device manufacturer may choose to use an ASCA-accredited testing laboratory to conduct testing for pre-market submissions to the FDA. So one of the basic, let's say, advantages of using this program, which you may not be aware of, is that when you put inside your, let's say, project file, and you send it to FDA for review initially for the pre-market surveillance and submission. If the laboratory that has conducted the test on your products is FDA ASCA accredited, then this will give, let's say, more confidence to the FDA that all the tests have been performed properly and under a suitable environment. So with this slide, I would like to thank you for hosting me here in this event. It's always nice to interact with all of these interesting audience and all the presenters that are high end every time when I participate as a speaker. And I would like to say that quality should not be negotiable when it comes to medical devices. And the patient safety should always be the top priority, and other rigorous testing and certification processes are essential to ensure the reliability and effectiveness of these technologies. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Demetrius, for a wonderful presentation and detailed retrospection also again from iOS. We are like to address certain questions which we have also asked, but we would like to talk about specifically for EU and for US, just like in BCC we had. So how would these be impacted again here?
Mr. Atul, your voice was breaking up, so I could not hear the question so clear.
I guess your voice is breaking up.
Is it audible? Dimitrios,
Yes,
can you hear? Can you hear?
I can hear you perfectly, Rama. Yeah.
Because even my internet. Atulji, what was the question about?
No, I just wanted to make. Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it in the chat
Basically, this is the chat box itself, basically.
Chat box. Dimitrios, look at the questions in the chat box, please.
So the last one, well, I don't see in the chat box. I don't see in the Q&A. I see some questions.
Q&A, not the chat box. Q&A box.
Right. Okay. So I see one. It says that ASCA is a sort of outsourcing of regulatory job by FDA. So basically the outsourcing is from FDA to the accreditation bodies to verify the competency of testing laboratories. and not basically because FDA doesn't do any testing. So the testing laboratories that are doing that will not be directly assessed by FDA, but the accreditation bodies will do that. And so far, under this program, only accreditation bodies from US are eligible to participate in this program.
Dimitrios, ASCA recognition is open for caps outside US also, I guess, right? ABs from outside US also?
At the moment, I checked yesterday night the statistics. There are about a little over 100 testing laboratories accredited worldwide. And there are also laboratories spread around the world, not just in US, that now are doing this and are under this program.
It's a mandatory requirement, right? As per USFDA, it's a regulatory requirement, right? Or it is
It's not a mandatory requirement at the moment,
Okay.
but FDA is always saying that we trust this, we have confidence in the program.
Right.
So when we see
Right.
a test report coming from those labs, it's always a plus.
I agree. Yeah, got it. Clear. It's very clear. Thank you. Some
Well, if you're
specific
looking at
questions.
if you're looking at this question which is raised again for the online submission of documents, I understand now, would that be a requirement for a local person to be done? Because as far as GCC is concerned, or in EU or in US, they both would have different perspectives. So would it be required, mandatory for a local person to be uploading these documents, or can somebody else be doing it? Dr. Sudhi.
So on the authorized representative in the local market, Dr. Sudhir, can you hear?
I have some difficulty hearing. Local authorized person. Can you just repeat if you don't?
I'll just repeat. Local authorized person, legal representative requirement is what he is asking.
Okay. So for like any country, any country will have a system of okay, if imagine the manufacturer sitting from India or USA wish to export and do the business in UAE, they will not able to do it directly. Even if it is right now people are using e-com, that is not possible. So you have to have a local representative. Now that local representative could be a distributor, or maybe your own branch of a company which want to have a better control. They can have their entities also, but that entity has to be incorporated in the country such as UAE, Kuwait. Now that particular company should also have a drugstore. That means they should also have a capacity to handle that particular product. So there has to be a competent staff. So competent staff, better storage conditions, facility, which is like good storage practices as per the local regulation. If these conditions are met, and not only that, many of the countries of GCC, the local partner need to be there. Imagine you want to have that sort of a drugstore or a company, then you have to have a local partner. So that particular entity can only act as your distributor or a local partner or a local representative is what I would like to say.
I just want to add on just one question to this legal representative. However, how it is understood at the marketplace. There is a legal side to the whole arrangement when a regulatory requirement says that you must have your local representative and there has to be a local partner. By and large, this is a common requirement. Somehow I could understand that, the industry's understanding of this is like a staffing solution. Just keep a resource there, provide a person there, and just give some address, some space. But The legal side is very, very risky. That is something the businesses are not understanding. This is something which I generally keep cautioning them about. I really wanted you all to stress upon this because there is a legal side, something going wrong, there are legal complications attached to it. So it is because otherwise it's just identify a person, place a person, provide, have an address, have a space. I just want you have your views on this, maybe both of you. When we say legal representative available in the local market, I just want you to touch upon it. Thank you.
I would just go first because here the authorities go one step ahead. This is the health business will have to have a local person responsible. So that is where they are putting a lot of importance to that. Apart from that, there is a vigilance department which keep on searching the product on the shelf, in the market, in the storage, as the port actually. And most importantly, what I would like to say that now they are also coming up with the stringent requirement of insurance also, because having everything is there, but if there is no insurance, there is no basically cover. So the laws is also moving it from that in that direction, and definitely it would definitely help. Yeah, the having only address does not help. It has to have a complete support as well as competent technical backbone to support any sort of maybe adverse reaction or a scientific advice or immediate emergency response. So that is very important, and I think they are also moving towards that direction. For a pharma medical device, it's very strict. For a consumer product, it is not that strict at this point of time, I would like to say. Yeah, thank you.
And any views on this, Democritus?
So what I would like to say is that if I understood the question right, is that in EU, for example, there is the let's say the concept of the authorized representative. So that is a person or a legal entity established within the EU who has a written mandate from the manufacturer, which is outside the EU, to act on their behalf, in relation to a specified task with regards to the obligations under the regulations, the MDR and the IVDR. So in the regulations, they describe the responsibilities of those authorized representatives and the tasks that can be delegated by the manufacturers to the authorized representative. So in EU, you have to have someone local in the EU, and you cannot do everything outside the EU. So you need to have an authorized representative, and that is also a big business in the European Union, with some companies that are offering this option to many manufacturers around the world, and they provide their services to different manufacturers, to be honest.
I'm aware of it. But there have been marketing organizations who are offering all this also services. One quick question, Dr. Sudhir, you were talking about embassy attestation or endorsement, right?
Right.
So one of your slides, I saw that attestation by the embassies. So is it for the imports? Is it for the imports into the GCC markets?
Okay. Yeah. So what happens actually? Imagine you have a FSC, or you have health certificate, you have a GMP certificate. Now, those GMP certificate are very much required at the time of registering the product.
I know.
They form a part of a dossier. Now, those documents need to be properly legalized from a country, from an embassy of a country like UAE, embassy in India. So that has to be, it goes to the Foreign Affairs Department first, and then it get attested by the embassy of UAE in India. So that is the legalization process which have to follow.
I think that's a strong control they have introduced. That's what I'm just trying to understand. There is a very strong control. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for this. Any questions from audience? Any questions here? There is something on online submission of documents. Whether any person outside the GCC can upload the documents.
That's what we talked about.
Oh, it's addressed, is it? Fair enough. No issues. If there are no questions, then I
Yeah,
guess.
in fact, I would like to say here, I will just talk on that.
Yeah, please.
See, first of all, these documents can only be submitted by authorized agent, and authorized agent should be a drugstore. So local entity can only submit the document. But yes, as far as access this particular portals are there, that can be done through anywhere on the world actually. But very soon they might restrict those access also, because I think many of the portals from Europe or US can only be accessed if it is a geographical access only. But currently it is possible to put in those dossiers or those documents from anywhere on the earth. So that is what I would say.
Right.
I guess Suhasji has posted a couple of questions he's
Yes.
asking.
Yeah. There's a query from him which says that similar to GDPR, HIPAA is also there is no third-party certification available. So in such cases, how the compliance to GDPR and HIPAA regulations are demonstrated during the medical device approval process in all these three markets, the Gulf, the EU, and US.
It's not for medical devices. It's for healthcare information security. By and large, in US, the insurers and patient-related information, almost transcription companies, wherever there is a patient information is available, the HIPAA regulatory norm is there, not for medical devices. What, Dimitrios? That's my understanding.
For European Union, there's a regulation about the GDPR.
Yes.
If we are talking about the protection of data and all that personal data, and there is also one certification available, basically, which is the ISO 27701, which is, as you said, related a little bit to IT, and it is it's together with the ISO 27001, which is IT security, information security management, which gives the opportunity now to organizations to be certified as well. So that's something that is coming up.
True, very true, sir. Do we have any further questions?
From the audience, there are no questions. Maybe anybody is interested, can please maybe raise your hand, please. If there are no questions, then we can actually move on to winding up the session. Aarti, is the poll ready? Dr. Suresh wants to ask a question. Yes, doctor. Please unmute yourself. Any difficulties, Dr. Suresh? You're able to unmute yourself because we could see your raised hand.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, clear.
Yeah. So now when I look at the accreditation procedures, that is the first thing is it is a voluntary. So does it have any legal status to sue the company if it is not following the accreditation procedures?
You've been related to the ASCA, right? The FDA ASCA, as I see from your comment. Okay, so now it is voluntary. As I said, the FDA is considering the test reports from ASCA accredited laboratory as competent enough so that they don't need any other testing to be done. So it gives a certain level of scrutiny to get that accreditation and to achieve that accreditation, and it gives some advantage to whoever can get that. However, as you said, it's voluntary at the moment, but FDA is looking to go one step further in the next few years, and they're looking for a big raise of accredited laboratory, as they say, in the next 2-3 years. with an expansion of 200 to 300% of the laboratories that are already accredited. So they want to work with the manufacturers around the world to educate them about the program and to start using it around the world to enhance also the competency of the laboratories that are doing this testing.
No, I am asking about the legal. Suppose the product is declared substandard of quality. So what will be the action against? And whether the accreditation certificate will be used as a proof in the court of law to prosecute that firm? That is my question.
It is the same as accreditation for any laboratory that is done so far, since it is not a mandatory program at this moment. So it stands the same, it has the same importance as any other accreditation at the moment. But the FDA, as I said, when they're looking at the... Yes. So it can stand because accreditation certificates show something, mean something.
No, it means okay. But suppose the product declared, suppose the blood pressure apparatus, it is giving wrong results. So that is the life, playing with the life of the people.
That's always with anybody who is doing testing.
Yes. So then, in that case, whether that firm will be able to prosecute and convict.
No, your regulation is actually has got a legal sanctity, Dr. Suresh. What happened? That is the post-market surveillance is all about. Products failing, not performing as per the expectations. Either the users have to report, or the manufacturers have to report, or the end users, consumers have to report. And then the regulatory structures.
No, my second question that I also put it there, having any calibration, because in any case of machines, calibration is very important. Like simple like thermometer or your weighing machine, you don't know whether it is giving correct results or not. So having not been calibration in place, how you can say that this is giving correct result?
Jawahri sir is there in the, sorry, sir is there actually. Sorry, Dr. Suresh, just a second.
Yeah.
Is Anil Jawahri sir is there? Sir, are you there? Yes, it's not there. Dimitrios, over to you, and then maybe both to Dr. Suresh.
I mean, accreditation gives you the confidence in the competency of a laboratory. So that is happening for a long time now. I don't understand why this should be different at this case. So it is the same way that the conformity assessment structure works all those years, that we have trust when there is an accredited report from a calibration lab in this way. So we expect that the calibration lab that is accredited will provide a proper report because they have proven their competency through the assessment process. So I think we should trust this process, and this is why the structure is like that at this point.
Two scenarios here, Dimitrios. The calibration, what he's talking about, at the manufacturer's premises, or as part of your manufacturing structure, and the calibration that takes place in the clinical setting.
Yes.
Once it is marketed, there are two different scenarios. So when in a clinical setting, once it is post-marketed, product doesn't again, the calibration doesn't, all these things doesn't work, it has to be reported. That is what your post-market surveillance system is all about. Then it is the responsibility of the technical regulators to look into this incident, safety related ones, cancel the licenses, suspensions, and whatever it is.
Exactly.
Jawahri sir wanted to respond. Sir, you're unable to unmute yourself. Just a second. There's some technical glitch today we have experienced. Just 1 second, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, clear, sir. Yes, it's about calibration. Yeah.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, sir. There is a question about Dr. Suresh is here. He was asking a question, so all of us trying to answer it on the calibration, a medical equipment or a device or an instrument. Where the calibration is very critical, and once it is post-marketed, launched, and used in the clinical settings where the calibration fails, doesn't work. That's what he's asking. Am I right, doctor? Is that your question? Is all
Yes,
about?
yes.
So
And whether there is a mandatory to do the calibration.
it is
Because
I'll tell you that part of it, but that is at least I'll give you my directions. I mean, my dimension to it in a clinical setting. For example, you're going for your accreditation certification programs in a clinical setting, right? So your quality management system, your patient safety frameworks also talk about calibration of medical equipments, medical devices in user settings.
yes, it is there, but like say simple like thermometer,
Yeah.
it is never calibrated. You don't know whether it is giving correct result or not. Weighing machine, because I am facing these problems.
Clinical settings, I mean, not doing it, not happening it, not implementing it in a clinical setting, that's a different scenario altogether. Sir, you want to answer this, sir?
No, but it
So your
no,
problem
it
is the
has to be,
user is not doing.
no,
If the
it has to be, the procedure has to be there now. Nobody knows the procedure, how to calibrate the blood pressure apparatus. How to calibrate it, I don't know. Even I am a doctor using it for some last 10 years. How to calibrate it? Whatever results are given, I am believing that it is correct. That's why I am telling the simple example of weighing machine. Weighing machine you can calibrate by putting some weight and checking that whether it is giving correct results or not. But what about the BP apparatus? It is very critical. What about the blood sugar? I am facing the problems because one time gave different results, other time give different results. So how to interpret it? Which is correct?
We have medical device calibration program for the laboratories. Maybe we'll have to have a conversation one day. Doctor, you're going to anchor it. I'm going to request you. Let's do a conversation on medical device calibrations. It's a very important topic.
Very important.
Fortunately, on the very important topic, I fully agree with you. And some understanding, some knowledge on this. I know that clinical settings, at least they're much better now, much better than what it was earlier. I know some kind of resistance to get the calibration done. It's not being done effectively, but things are improving.
The fact is that there is also a kind of a uniformity of the benchmarks or the calibrations of the benchmarks that need to be across the regions. Which would be differ from specifically for BP. Basically, if you look at the calibrations or the benchmarks stated for US or EU compared to GC or to India, they vary. So that itself is also a starting point of where we're talking about. Again, I'm talking about the critical factors in terms of the devices, and that's again different.
No, we have a standard. We have a standard medical devices calibration. It's the same
Right.
ISO 17025. There is a standardization.
Yeah, it is there.
It is there. See, his question is a little different. I'll tell you. In the clinical settings, certain things happening, not happening.
If the clinical settings, that's true.
I think his question is in hospitals, whatever equipment is being used, is it being calibrated or not?
Yes. That is why I said.
And how do you make sure that it is calibrated legally? Is it required of the hospitals?
Yes, and how the
medical device calibration start the same 17025, sir. Actually,
so actually this should if hospitals are under regulation, which for example our Clinical Establishment Act, under that if there are regulations for hospitals, that should require that you keep equipment calibrated.
It is actually not there,
it should require, otherwise you can't force them.
No, it is not there, but in the accreditation standard also, that the accreditation certification, there are multiple levels. It is not being insisted upon.
So you're talking, for example, NABH accreditation.
Absolutely,
or any other accreditation.
absolutely, not being insisted upon.
What is the requirement there?
It is not being
in terms of equipment.
Not being insisted. So that's fine. So we need to have a separate conversation. I'll request Dr. Suresh. He's actually he's got a lot of depth and connect with all these topics, being a clinical into clinical practice. We'll request him Monday, doctor. Let's do a conversation on that also.
Okay, thank you. I love that.
We'll do that, doctor. I'm glad that you're joining us today. Thank you so much for that.
Yes.
Any other questions? This is an interesting conversation today. I guess, Atulji, can we just...
we can just do the poll.
Aarti, is the poll ready? Quick 2 minutes. Small carrot for all of us, for speakers and all of us. Request you all just to do the quick poll, please. who is there available in the session. Just about 2-3 minutes. It won't take much. Request you all to participate, complete the poll, please. All the participants, speakers cannot do, of course. Request all of you. Some more, please. I need 6 more. Maybe at least 2 or 3 more, and then we can do it. That's fine. Okay. Aarti, I think we can close it. Right? Can I show the full results, Aarti, please? Scroll down, please. You can also scroll down and see. Yes. Thank you. We can close it, Aarti. Atulji, I guess we can. Aarti, poll, close the poll. Not needed. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So closing remarks, Atulji.
Yeah, sure. I would like to thank all of the speakers who have come and actually dwelt in a lot of details. Specifically, Mr. Dimitrios, who's been there from the session, and of course, Dr. Sudhi Saroka, who's here from all the way from Dubai, and a lot of other speakers who have come and joined us and left for the day. But thank you all of us. Thank you all the participants for joining our session on one more session of Learn, Relearn, and Unlearn. And thank you the support team who has actually helped us in doing the managing all the poll and the events. Thank you, Aarti, and thank you, everybody. Thank you once again. Thank you a lot. Thanks a lot. And see you soon in the next sessions of November sessions of quality webinars. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dimitrios. Thank you, Dr. Sudhi. Thank you
Dr.
to IAS for supporting always. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
See
you,
you.
madam.
Do join. Request you all to join us for the after tomorrow session on data privacy, which is the latest regulation in the country on DPDP Act. And so data privacy standards, regulations, and certifications is the session on 23rd. We'll invite all of you. Please do join us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.